Derek Liu King, a 24-year-old man from Louisville, Tennessee, was known for being dependable and organized. The following day, his car was found parked at Newfound Gap, a popular spot in the mountains. Inside the car, a note with the unsettling message, "Do not look for me," sparked a wide-scale search. This cryptic message, coupled with Derek's sudden and unexplained absence, left everyone grappling with numerous unanswered questions, shrouding his disappearance in a deep mystery. In the weeks leading up to his disappearance, Derek's behavior began to subtly change. His roommate, Ryan, and Derek's family noticed he was starting to drink and smoke, habits that were out of character for him. Derek also seemed increasingly withdrawn, adding to their growing concern about his well-being. On March 15th of 2012, a routine morning took a concerning turn. Derek failed to show up for his job at Peninsula Hospital, an unusual deviation for someone known for his punctuality and reliability. Ryan recalled the morning vividly. Derek's alarm was blaring as he left for work, an odd occurrence since Derek typically woke up and turned it off promptly. Compounding the worry, Derek's computer revealed searches for the Great Smoky Mountains and a reservation at a micro-hotel in Cherokee, North Carolina. These findings were puzzling, as Derek had not mentioned any plans to anyone that he was going to travel. This unexpected discovery intensified the mystery, leading his family and friends to question what Derek was seeking in the remote wilderness. Upon realizing Derek was missing, his family acted quickly. Alarmed by his unexplained absence and the concerning details on his computer, they drove overnight from Virginia to Tennessee. Their urgency was fueled by worry and the hope of finding Derek safe. When Derek's family reached the hotel in Cherokee, North Carolina, they encountered a room that seemed frozen in a moment of contemplation. A Bible lay open on the bed, and nearby, a bottle of liquor was found on the floor, items that hinted Derek may have been wrestling with a tough decision. The scene was eerie, with personal belongings left as if Derek would return at any moment, yet he was nowhere to be found. The trail led to the Newfound Gap, where Derek's white Ford Escape was parked in the lower lot. Inside the car, the atmosphere thickened with mystery. The family found Derek's wallet and keys, which he would typically take with him. Most striking was a note left in the vehicle with the words, "Don't look for me." This cryptic message, combined with his belongings left behind, deepened the puzzle of his disappearance and left everyone grappling with more questions than answers. The discovery of the cryptic note in Derek's car cast a shadow over the investigation into his disappearance. Written simply, the message was both stark and puzzling, leaving a chilling air of mystery. This note did not specify a recipient, which only deepened the intrigue and speculation about its intended meaning. Derek's family and the authorities were left to interpret this puzzling piece of evidence. The note suggested a desire for solitude, or perhaps an intention to vanish without a trace, yet it was ambiguous enough to keep all possibilities open. His family was torn between distress and confusion. They pondered whether Derek was signaling a need to escape life's pressures, or if it indicated something more ominous. The ambiguity of the message made it difficult for everyone involved to gauge Derek's mental state at the time that he left. Authorities considered the possibility of a planned disappearance, but the note's vague wording left them uncertain about whether Derek might have been in distress or contemplating harm to himself. This single piece of paper, left in the silence of his parked car, became a central piece of the puzzle, heavily influencing the search and rescue efforts and the theories about Derek's eventual fate. The search for Derek was an extensive and challenging operation. It involved scores of search and rescue personnel, including park rangers, volunteers, and specially trained dogs. Helicopters buzzed overhead, scanning the rugged terrain of the Great Smoky Mountains, an area known for its dense forests and steep cliffs. Despite the considerable resources deployed, the search teams faced the daunting task of covering a vast and treacherous landscape. The community around the Smokies and beyond rallied to the cause, moved by the mysterious circumstances of Derek's disappearance. Local media covered the story extensively, broadcasting Derek's photos and the details of his last known location, hoping to drum up any leads. This widespread attention helped galvanize a network of hikers and visitors to be on the lookout, expanding the eyes and the ears on the ground in the operation. For Derek's family and friends, the public's engagement brought both comfort and sorrow. The visibility of the search kept their hopes alive, yet each passing day without news served as a reminder of the grim possibilities. The emotional toll was palpable, with each media update and community search effort reigniting a mix of hope and heartache. This period was marked by a blend of community support and the stark reality of an ongoing mystery with few answers. Derek's disappearance spurred a range of theories, each reflecting the mysterious nature of his vanishing. One prominent theory suggested that Derek might have planned to disappear and live off the land. Another theory considered the possibility of foul play or an unfortunate accident. The remote and wild terrain of the Great Smoky Mountains could easily be the scene of an accidental mishap, or, less likely, a criminal act, given the circumstances surrounding the discovery of his car and belongings. Psychological factors played a significant role in the speculation. Derek's recent behavioral changes and the cryptic note left behind hinted at a troubled state of mind. This led some to ponder whether he was grappling with personal issues that might have driven him to seek solitude or even contemplate more dire actions. Comparatively, the Smoky Mountains have been the backdrop for other missing person cases that remained unsolved, adding a layer of intrigue and historical mystery to Derek's case. The similarity between cases often involved sudden disappearances, minimal clues, and vast search areas, compounding the challenges for search teams and increasing the speculation among the public and investigators alike. Derek Liu King's family has remained steadfast in their efforts to uncover the truth behind his mysterious disappearance. Determined not to let Derek's story fade into obscurity, they have launched several social media campaigns aimed at spreading awareness and gathering new information. These online efforts have kept Derek's case in the public eye, attracting tips and encouraging those who may know something to come forward. Additionally, the family has actively engaged with hikers and tourists visiting the Great Smoky Mountains. They have distributed flyers and set up information booths at key trailheads, pleading with park visitors to keep an eye out for any sign of Derek. This direct engagement has not only helped maintain a visible presence in the area, but has also enlisted the help of a community of outdoor enthusiasts who frequent the park. The ongoing search has taken a profound emotional and psychological toll on the family. The uncertainty surrounding Derek's fate weighs heavy on their hearts, with each passing day adding to a burden of not knowing. Despite this, they continue to hold on to hope, driven by love and the relentless desire for closure. Their efforts underscore a deep commitment to finding answers, fueled by the belief that someone out there holds the key to solving the mystery of Derek's disappearance. As of today, the case of Derek Liu King remains unresolved, with his whereabouts still unknown. The search efforts have dwindled over the years, but his family continues to seek answers, holding on to the hope that new information will eventually surface. The mysterious note and Derek's sudden disappearance continue to puzzle both authorities and those who knew him. The unresolved nature of his case has broader implications for national park safety and missing person investigations. It highlights the challenges faced by search and rescue operations in the vast wilderness area of the Smoky Mountain National Park, and it underscores the need for improved strategies and technologies to track and locate individuals who go missing under similar circumstances. Family members, friends, and authorities have expressed a deep need for closure, not only for their peace of mind, but also to learn from Derek's case to prevent future tragedies. The ongoing mystery serves as a reminder of the unpredictability of such incidents and the profound impact it has on all whose lives are involved. The hope remains that one day, the truth about what happened to Derek Liu King will be uncovered, bringing much-needed closure to everybody touched by his story. In the dense woods of Mount Hood National Forest, the mysterious disappearance of Garen Kirk left many unanswered questions. On December 3rd of 2014, Garen, a seasoned outdoorsman, ventured alone into the forest for a routine hike. Unknown to his family and friends at the time, This trip would be unlike any other. It wasn't until 2018 that hikers stumbled upon a wallet and human remains in a remote ravine, sparking a renewed interest in his case. Finally, in June of 2022, these remains were confirmed to be Garen's, providing some closure to the haunting mystery that lingered for years. Garen Kirk was not just an avid hiker, but a devoted father and a student with aspirations. His love for the outdoors was paralleled by his commitment to furthering his education and providing for his daughter. Despite his familiarity with the wilderness of Oregon, the forest that had been his retreat would also cloud his fate in mystery. Garen Kirk was a 31-year-old man from Milwaukee, Oregon, with a life that balanced between his roles as a father, student, and outdoor enthusiast. He had spent several years in Arizona working in admissions for the University of Phoenix before returning to his hometown. There, he re-enrolled in school at Portland Community College and had just completed his first term of online courses with National University. Garen was driven, aiming to complete his bachelor's degree and eventually pursue a master's. As a father, Garen shared joint custody of his 5-year-old daughter, Gabriella. His commitment to his daughter was deep, mirroring the dedication he showed in every aspect of his life. Garen's passion for the outdoors was well known among his friends and family. He was particularly drawn to the sprawling, rugged landscapes of Mount Hood National Forest, a place he had explored numerous times. His extensive experience in hiking and camping in these woods made him familiar with its trails and terrain. The familiarity makes his mysterious disappearance all the more perplexing, as he was well versed in the skills needed to navigate such challenging environments. On the chilly morning of December 3, 2014, Garen Kirk set out for what was supposed to be a routine 3-day hike in the familiar terrains of Mount Hood. He planned to return by December 6th. Unlike his previous trips, this time Garen did not leave a detailed itinerary with his family, a decision that would later shroud his disappearance in mystery. Garen's absence was first noted when he failed to return home as expected. Concern grew quickly among his family members, who realized they had no specific details about his planned route or exact destinations within the vast forest. The situation escalated when his gold Pontiac Grand Am was found abandoned at Frog Lake Campground, which served as his starting point. The vehicle, parked undisturbed, offered no clues, deepening the worry for his safety. The discovery of his car prompted immediate action. Family members contacted authorities, leading to a flurry of activity as search and rescue teams prepared to scour the area. The initial reaction was a mix of urgency and confusion. Searchers faced the daunting task of piecing together Garen's possible movements in the extensive wilderness without a clear trail to follow. This lack of information would profoundly complicate the search efforts and amplify the mystery surrounding his disappearance. The full-scale search for Garen began on December 8th of 2014, a day after his abandoned vehicle was located at Frog Lake Campground. This delay was crucial. The time lost could have allowed for significant changes in weather or his situation. The challenge was not just a ticking clock, but also the vast and variable terrain of Mount Hood National Forest, known for its dense woods and steep ravines, which could hide any number of secrets. This included teams from Pacific Northwest Search and Rescue, Mountain Wave Emergency Communications, and various county sheriff's search and rescue squads. The community response was overwhelming, with around 170 volunteers participating, demonstrating the urgency and community concern for Garen. The search teams employed every tool at their disposal. Sniffer dogs were brought in, attempting to trace Garrett's scent through the forest. Infrared cameras mounted on aircraft swept the area, looking for heat signatures that could indicate his presence. Despite these advanced technologies, the rugged and sprawling nature of the landscape posed a significant obstacle. Conditions during the search added to the difficulties. The area experienced unusually damp weather and temperature that hovered just above freezing, with low snow levels that should have aided visibility, but instead contributed to the harsh conditions. After an intense week of searching that tested the resolve of everyone involved, the official search was reluctantly called off on December 15th of 2014. No significant clues had been uncovered, and Garen remained lost to the shadowy depths of the forest, leaving behind questions that the misty terrain of Mount Hood seemed unwilling to surrender. 4 years after Garen Kirk mysteriously vanished, a group of hikers made a startling discovery in a secluded ravine only about a mile from where his journey began. Among the scattered leaves and debris, they found a wallet. Inside was Garrett's driver's license, a haunting clue that linked directly to him. Near the wallet, there were also human remains, raising both hope and heartache for those who had been waiting for any news for years. The process to confirm that these remains were indeed Garen's was painstaking. DNA samples were collected and analyzed, a procedure that extended over several years. Finally, in June of 2022, the results confirmed the remains belonged to Garen. This official identification brought a complex mix of relief and profound sorrow to his family and the community that had supported the search efforts. The community felt a deep sense of loss mixed with closure as the mystery of Garen's disappearance found some form of conclusion, albeit a tragic one. The place he loved, the wilderness of Mount Hood, had kept its secret for years, only revealing it bit by bit to those who tread its paths. Confirmation of Garen Kirk's death was met with a wave of grief from his family. They experienced a bittersweet closure, relieved to finally have answers, but devastated by the loss. The resolution brought them a painful peace, ending years of agonizing uncertainty. Reflecting on the search efforts, the family expressed gratitude toward the volunteers and agencies involved, recognizing the extensive efforts made to find Garen. They also acknowledged the complexities and challenges of such searches, emphasizing the importance of preparation and clear communication. From this experience, key safety messages and advice have emerged for future hikers. The family, along with search agencies, strongly advocate for leaving detailed plans with someone before heading into the wilderness. They stress the importance of being prepared with proper gear and knowledge of the terrain, as well as the necessity of understanding weather conditions, which can change rapidly and unpredictably. Garen Kirk's story is a reminder of the mysteries and dangers that can lurk in the beauty of our natural landscapes. His disappearance and the eventual discovery of his remains highlighted both the vulnerability of even the most experienced hikers and the relentless unpredictability of nature. The closure provided by the identification of his remains brought a profound sense of finality to his loved ones and the community. This tragic event underscores the critical need for preparedness and caution in wilderness adventures, ensuring that the memory of Garen Kirk serves as a guiding lesson for all who venture into the great outdoors. Jacob Michael Olivier, at the age of 23, found himself far from his hometown of Spring, Texas, in circumstances that baffled everyone who knew him. Known for his kindness and thoughtful nature, Jacob's life in Texas was one of recovery and hope, making his sudden disappearance in August of 2011 all the more mystifying and out of character. The setting of his vanishing was the sprawling and wild Everglades National Park in Florida. The questions began when Jacob, without any apparent reason, embarked on a long journey over 1,000 miles from the comfort of his home to the unfamiliar and challenging terrain of the Florida Everglades. This vast natural reserve, known for its unique ecosystem and daunting landscapes, was far from anything Jacob was known to seek out. His arrival in Florida was unannounced and unexpected. He had no friends or family in that area, nor any known connections to the state. The purpose of his journey remained shrouded in mystery, sparking intrigue and speculation among those who sought to understand his motivations. Upon entering the Everglades, Jacob's trail went cold. His green 1998 Isuzu Hombre truck was discovered abandoned in a parking lot, a silent witness to the start of a disappearance that would captivate and haunt many. The discovery of the truck, with personal belongings still inside, marked the beginning of a search that would span the rugged expanse of the park. Yet, despite extensive efforts to locate him, no trace of Jacob could be found, deepening the mystery of his fate. Jacob's sudden decision to leave Texas, his solitary journey to the Everglades, and the puzzle of his disappearance create a narrative that is as perplexing as it is tragic. Questions abound. What drew him to the Everglades? What happened in the park that led to his disappearance? The lack of answers casts a shadow over Jacob's story, leaving family, friends, and investigators grappling with the unknown. The mysterious aspects of Jacob's disappearance, his unexpected travel, the desolate location where he was last known to be, and the absence of clear reasons for his journey continue to perplex and fascinate those who seek to unravel the truth behind his vanishing. Jacob Michael Olivier's disappearance unfolds with a sequence of eerie and puzzling events, leaving more questions than answers. Before vanishing, Jacob's life seemed to be on a regular path, with no hints of the strange journey he was about to undertake. His last known activities were mundane, part of his daily life in Spring, Texas. Then, without warning, he was gone. The mystery deepened when the Everglades National Park Service found Jacob's green Isuzu Hombre truck abandoned. It sat silently in the parking lot of Pine Glades Lake, an empty vessel hinting at an unsettling story of its owner's disappearance. The discovery of the truck sent shockwaves through Jacob's family. They were blindsided by the news, unable to comprehend why Jacob would travel over 1,000 miles to the Everglades, a place disconnected from his life in Texas. As the authorities delved into the investigation, they uncovered CCTV footage that captured Jacob entering the park. This footage, showing Jacob driving into the Everglades alone, provided a crucial timestamp for his entry, but also deepened the mystery, marking the moment he moved beyond the reach of those who knew him. Inside the truck, investigators found items that seemed out of place. A ticket that confirmed his entry date into the park, an empty weapon case signaling the presence of a gun now missing, and other personal belongings. These items painted a confusing picture of his intentions and preparedness. The last ping from Jacob's phone came late that afternoon, off a tower within the park, suggesting he had moved further into the Everglades after parking his truck. This final signal from his phone was a critical piece of evidence, offering a fleeting connection to Jacob's movements within the vast park. It guided the search efforts, hinting at where Jacob might have ventured before disappearing completely. Together, these pieces, the abandoned truck, the CCTV footage, the items left behind, and the last phone ping, compose a timeline marked by uncertainty and concern. They form the foundation of a mystery that has perplexed his family, friends, and investigators alike. The initial reaction of alarm and confusion have since given way to a relentless search for answers, driving efforts to understand what happened to Jacob after he entered the Everglades, a quest that continues to this day amidst the silence of the park's sprawling wilderness. The search for Jacob mobilized a vast and coordinated effort, weaving together the skills and resources of the Everglades National Park Service, the Civil Air Patrol, and canine units in a desperate attempt to find him. The park's rangers, accustomed to the challenges of their environment, understood the enormity of their task. They were searching for a needle in a haystack, but the haystack was the Everglades, a vast expanse of over 1.5 million acres of wetland, dense vegetation, and waterways. The search teams faced formidable obstacles. The Everglades is not only immense, but its terrain is treacherous and unwelcoming. Thick mangroves, deep waters, and the ever-present risk of encountering wildlife, from alligators to venomous snakes, made the search operation perilous. Weather conditions, too, were an adversary. The Florida heat, sudden thunderstorms, and high humidity challenged the endurance of the searchers and complicated efforts to track any signs of Jacob's movement or passage. Despite these obstacles, the search teams pressed on. Canine units attempted to trace Jacob's scent, but could only find traces of it around his truck and a limited perimeter beyond it. This led to speculation that Jacob might have left the park in another vehicle or on foot, broadening the already massive search area. The Civil Air Patrol took to the skies, hoping to spot clues from above, while rangers and volunteers combed the ground below. The discovery of the empty weapon case in his truck, coupled with the final ping from his cell phone, suggested various scenarios. Did Jacob meet someone in the park? Was he planning to go off-grid, or was this trip a result of an impulse or confusion? His family and the authorities grappled with these questions, each theory guiding the search in new directions, but yielding little in the way of concrete answers. The investigation into Jacob's disappearance was a puzzle with too many missing pieces. The vastness of the Everglades, the challenges posed by the environment, and the scarcity of leads formed a complex web of obstacles that hampered efforts to uncover what happened to Jacob after he stepped into that park. With every day that passed, the mystery of his fate grew deeper, leaving more questions than answers in its wake. The disappearance of Jacob Michael Olivier cast a shadow of sorrow and uncertainty over his family, leaving them grappling with an endless sea of questions and the pain of his absence. Each day without answers adds to their emotional burden, a relentless mix of hope and despair. Jacob's family found themselves in a relentless quest for answers, clinging to any piece of information that might explain why Jacob traveled to the Everglades and what had happened to him there. Their lives were suspended in a state of waiting and wondering, with each unanswered question deepening their anguish. The community response to Jacob's disappearance was a testament to the bonds that tie people together in times of crisis. Friends, neighbors, and even strangers rallied around Jacob's family, offering support in various forms, from participating in search and rescue efforts to providing emotional support. The search for Jacob brought together a diverse group of individuals, each driven by a shared purpose to bring him home. This collective effort reflected the community's resilience and compassion as they joined hands with Jacob's family in their time of need. As days turned into weeks and then years, the absence of concrete answers took its toll, not only on Jacob's family, but also on the wider community. The mystery of his disappearance lingered like an open wound, a constant reminder of the fragility of life and the depths of human connection. Jacob's story transcended personal tragedy, touching the hearts of many and uniting them in a shared hope for closure and peace. The emotional impact of Jacob's disappearance on his family and the surrounding community underscores the profound ways in which a single life can touch many. It is a story of love, loss, and the enduring human spirit in the face of the unknown. In the wake of Jacob's disappearance, theories and speculations emerged, each attempting to shed light on the reasons behind his unexpected journey to the Everglades and the circumstances of his vanishing. The lack of concrete evidence and clear motives turned the case into a canvas for conjecture, with various scenarios painted by those following the case closely. One theory suggested that Jacob, seeking adventure or a break from his routine life, might have been drawn to the Everglades for its vast wilderness and isolation. Perhaps in seeking solitude or a connection with nature, Jacob underestimated the challenges and dangers of the park. This theory contemplates the possibility of an accident or getting lost in the expansive and treacherous terrain of the Everglades. Another line of speculation revolved around the mental health challenges Jacob had faced in the past. Could a desire for escape, a sudden impulse, or a bout of confusion have led him to drive across the country to such a remote and challenging environment? The discovery of an empty weapons case in his truck added a layer of complexity, suggesting preparation for a threat or, more troublingly, an intention that spoke to a deeper turmoil. The last known signal from Jacob's phone, coupled with the CCTV footage of him entering the park alone, fueled discussions about his state of mind and intentions upon arrival. Was Jacob meeting someone in the Everglades? The isolated location, far from his home and devoid of personal connections, made this theory both intriguing and perplexing. The absence of further evidence made it impossible to confirm if the trip was planned or spontaneous, or if Jacob intended to meet with fate or flee from it. Some speculated about the possibility of foul play, considering the Everglades' reputation for being a place where secrets can easily be hidden. However, without evidence of a struggle or a confrontation, this theory remained as speculative as the others. Amid these theories, the implications for the case were significant. Each hypothesis opened new avenues for investigation, but also highlighted the daunting task of searching for truth in a place as vast and impenetrable as the Everglades. The speculative nature of these theories underscores the profound mystery at the heart of Jacob's disappearance, a puzzle composed of fragmented clues, unanswered questions, and the echoing silence of the wilderness. The case of Jacob Michael Olivier remains an unsolved puzzle, a story suspended in the still, silent expanse of the Everglades. Classified as endangered missing, Jacob's disappearance is a cold case that refuses to fade into obscurity. Kept alive by the tireless efforts of his family, authorities, and a community unwilling to forget. Despite the passage of years, the quest for answers continues, with each day adding to the resolve to uncover the truth behind Jacob's mysterious vanishing. In an effort to keep the case in the public eye, Jacob's family and law enforcement have made repeated appeals for information. Social media posts, flyers, and press conferences serve as a reminder of Jacob's disappearance, urging anyone with even the smallest piece of information to come forward. Contact details for tips are widely circulated, offering a direct line for those who might hold the key to unraveling the mystery. These efforts underscore a collective determination to find Jacob, reflecting a hope that someone, somewhere, knows something that could lead to a breakthrough. Jacob's case casts a spotlight on the broader challenges of missing persons investigations in the vast natural parks like the Everglades. It highlights the immense difficulties faced by search and rescue teams navigating these wild, often inhospitable terrains. The disappearance of a single individual in such a sprawling wilderness underscores the need for enhanced search technologies, improved coordination among agencies, and greater awareness among the public of the risks associated with these natural landscapes. Moreover, Jacob's story serves as a reminder of the countless others who have vanished without a trace in similar settings. It raises important questions about how society, law enforcement, and communities respond to such disappearances and the measures in place to prevent them. In the fate of nature's vastness and the limits of human endeavor, the continuing mystery of Jacob Michael Olivier stands as a testament to the enduring hope for resolution and the relentless search for answers in the depths of the unknown. As we reflect on the enduring mystery of Jacob's disappearance, let us also remember the power of community, the strength of hope, and the unyielding human spirit in the face of the unknown. This story, while unique in its details, is a reminder of the countless others who remain missing, and the ongoing quest for answers that continues to unite us all. In the heart of Yellowstone's untamed wilderness stood the Grand Fountain Hotel, a beacon of elegance and luxury in the summer of 1900. Surrounded by the park's breathtaking landscapes, the hotel was a symbol of human achievement amidst nature's majestic beauty. It attracted travelers far and wide, eager to experience the comfort it offered in the midst of the wild. Into the scene of refinement stepped Leroy Piper, a 36-year-old visitor from Ohio. With a demeanor quieter than the lively guests around him, Piper seemed almost an enigma. His eyes held a depth that suggested a man on a quest, not just through the vast park, but perhaps a journey within himself. Yet no one could have guessed his arrival at the Fountain Hotel would soon weave his name into one of Yellowstone's most enduring mysteries. Inside the walls of the Fountain Hotel, luxury reigned supreme. Polished wooden floors shone under the warm lights of chandeliers, while guests with their finest attire filled the grand hall with laughter and animated discussions. They shared tales of the day's adventures, from sightings of bison herds to the mesmerizing eruption of geysers, creating a lively atmosphere of excitement and wonder. Amid this vibrant social scene, Leroy Piper made his entrance, his presence contrasting with the exuberance around him. With a quiet grace, he navigated through the crowds, a solitary figure among groups of animated guests. His demeanor was reserved, almost reflective, as if he were a silent observer to the festivities rather than a participant. The air of introspection amidst the hustle and bustle of the hotel hinted at the mysteries untold, setting the stage for a puzzle that would soon unfold around him. On his final evening, Leroy Piper was seen dining alone, a quiet observer in the dining room of the Fountain Hotel. He ate as if memorizing every detail of his surroundings. After his meal, he purchased a cigar, a simple act that marked the beginning of a profound mystery. With the cigar in his hand, Piper stepped out into the night, leaving the warmth and light of the hotel behind for the cool, starlit wilderness of Yellowstone National Park. When Piper did not return, concern quickly rippled through the hotel. Initially, there were hopes he might have taken a longer walk than originally thought, captivated by the nocturnal beauty of the park. But as hours turned into days without a sign of him, worry deepened. A search was organized, with hotel staff and volunteers combing the nearby woods and meadows, calling out his name and hoping for a response. The park's vastness made the search daunting. Detachments of cavalry were even brought in, their horses thundering through the landscape, yet no trace of Piper was found. As the search expanded, so did the concern among the hotel guests and the local community. The mysterious circumstances of Piper's disappearance became the focus of whispered conversations and speculative theories. What happened to the quiet man from Ohio after he stepped into the Yellowstone night? The search expanded quickly, with teams venturing deeper into Yellowstone's rugged wilderness. The terrain itself posed significant challenges, with dense forests, steep ravines, and unpredictable geysers and hot springs that dotted the landscape. Despite these obstacles, searchers remained determined, driven by the hope of finding any clue that might reveal Piper's whereabouts. As the search continued with no success, theories and rumors began to swirl among the hotel guests and staff. Some speculated that Piper, perhaps overwhelmed by personal thoughts, had wandered off, losing his way in the vast park. Others whispered of a more sinister fate, suggesting he might have encountered foul play or fallen victim to the wild animals that roam the area. The mystery deepened with each passing day, and the lack of evidence only fueled further speculation. The park's natural beauty became a backdrop to a growing list of possible scenarios, each more puzzling than the last. Among the staff and guests, the question of Piper's fate became a topic of constant discussion, with everyone offering their own theories, but no one able to provide answers. The disappearance of the quiet man had turned into a mystery that captivated and confounded the imagination of all who heard about it. The Fountain Hotel, nestled in Yellowstone splendor, was surrounded by attractions that drew guests closer to the wild heart of the park. Notably, a bear feeding station behind the hotel offered thrilling encounters with nature as guests watched from a safe distance. The bears came to feast on scraps. Additionally, the area was renowned for its geothermal wonders, with geysers and hot springs painting a landscape both beautiful and volatile. These attractions, while marvels to behold, posed inherent hazards that cannot be overlooked, especially in light of Piper's mysterious disappearance. The bear feeding station, though a source of entertainment, highlighted the presence of wild and potentially dangerous animals in the vicinity. This proximity to wildlife sparked concerns that Piper might have had an unexpected encounter with a bear, leading to his disappearance. The geothermal features, with their boiling water and unpredictable eruptions, presented a natural danger. The mesmerizing beauty of these sites could easily lure a visitor too close, with perilous consequences. In the wake of Piper's vanishing, some wondered if he had ventured to admire these natural wonders, only to fall victim to their hidden dangers. As speculation grew, these attractions and their risks became a focal point in the discussion about what might have happened to Piper. The natural beauty and potential peril underscored the mysterious circumstances of his disappearance, adding layers of intrigue and concern to the unfolding story. Following Leroy R. Piper's disappearance, the Fountain Hotel's once vibrant atmosphere shifted to one of unease and whispering curiosity. The lively conversations and laughter that had filled the grand halls and dining room were now tinged with the hushed tones of speculation and concern. Guests moved with a newfound wariness, their thoughts occupied by the unsolved mystery of the man who vanished into the night. Piper's room, left exactly it was before he stepped out, became a silent testament to the mystery. The bed, untouched since that evening, and his belongings scattered as if he would return at any moment, served as a haunting reminder to all those who passed by. The hotel staff, respecting the gravity of the situation, preserved the room's state, allowing no one to enter. It stood as a sort of shrine over a frozen moment in time, embodying the unanswered questions surrounding Piper's fate. This change affected everyone at the Fountain Hotel. Guests whispered their theories and rumors among themselves, while staff members shared concerned glances, all feeling the weight of the mystery that had taken over their once peaceful retreat. The disappearance of Piper had cast a shadow over the hotel, transforming it from a place of escape and wonder to a setting of enduring mystery. The search for Piper extended beyond the immediate vicinity of the Fountain Hotel, reaching to the furthest corners of Yellowstone Park. Despite the exhaustive efforts, which included combing through dense forests, navigating the rugged terrain, and scrutinizing every potential clue, the search parties came up empty-handed. No evidence of Piper's whereabouts ever emerged, deepening the mystery and frustrating those involved. As the search expanded, so too did the theories about what might have happened to Piper. Some suggested he might have accidentally fallen into one of the many geothermal features, a tragic misstep, leaving no trace behind. Others speculated about a possible criminal element, suggesting Piper could have been the victim of foul play, a theory supported by the absence of any clues or witnesses. Speculative theories also circulated, ranging from the idea that Piper, seeking solitude, had intentionally vanished into the wilderness to start anew, to other notions involving wild animals or even supernatural explanations. Each theory, while differing in details, underscored the collective need to make sense of the unexplainable disappearance. As speculation mounted, the mystery of what happened to the quiet man from Ohio continued to captivate and confound, becoming a haunting element of Yellowstone National Park's history and lore. Years after Leroy R. Piper's disappearance, the grandeur of the Fountain Hotel eventually faded into history. By 1916, the once bustling hotel had closed its doors, and in 1927, it was demolished, leaving behind only memories and stories. Among these tales, Piper's vanishing act remained one of the most captivating, a mystery that has lingered in the shadows of Yellowstone's past, untouched by time. Leroy R. Piper's story has left an indelible mark on Yellowstone's history and the experiences of those who visit. It has become a testament to the park's capacity to awe and also to mystify, offering a narrative that compels as much as it warns. Visitors are drawn not only to Yellowstone's natural wonder, but also to the stories and mysteries embedded in its landscape, with Piper's tale being among the most compelling. Reflecting on the nature of unsolved mysteries, Piper's disappearance underscores their profound impact on our collective imagination. These stories, particularly ones as enduring as Piper's, resonates through time, offering endless possibilities and inviting speculation. They remind us the limits of our understanding and the allure of the unknown. In the vastness of places like Yellowstone, mysteries such as Leroy Piper's not only endure, they become a part of the fabric, intriguing new generations and keeping the spirit of exploration and wonder alive. Stuart Isaac, a 48-year-old man, found himself ensnared in a mystery that would perplex and intrigue many. On September 24th, 2010, he vanished into the vast wilderness of Yellowstone National Park in Wyoming, leaving behind nothing but whispers of his presence and a puzzle that begged to be solved. The disappearance was the culmination of a journey that had commenced 18 days prior, on a seemingly ordinary day in Burtonsville, Maryland. Isaac had left a cryptic note for his family, a simple message that cloaked his true intentions in ambiguity. He announced he was setting out on a cross-country trip. This statement baffled everyone close to him, and it raised more questions than it answered. With the note as his only goodbye, he departed in his black 2009 Lexus IS250 westward, embarking on a 32-hour drive that would lead him straight into the heart of America's most beloved and mysterious national park. Was it a quest for solitude, an escape from the unseen burdens that life could no longer contain? Or perhaps Yellowstone, with its geothermal marvels and untamed landscapes, had whispered his name, promising answers to questions he hadn't yet formed. The park, a vast expanse of natural beauty, has been known to both reveal and conceal secrets deep within its forests, gushing geysers, and expansive valleys. Into this wilderness, Isaac disappeared, leaving behind the world he knew for reasons as mysterious as the land that swallowed him. His journey to Yellowstone was not just a trip, it was a voyage into the unknown, a pilgrimage towards something that perhaps even he couldn't fully articulate. As the wheels of the black Lexus turned, mile after mile, Isaac moved closer to his disappearance, to a fate that would become a story of questions, theories, and searches. The note he left, brief and to the point, hinted at a journey, but revealed nothing of the shadows that might have danced at its edges. It It was a prelude to a story that would unfold in the vast wilderness of Wyoming, a narrative punctuated by the mysterious silence of his absence. Isaac's disappearance into Yellowstone was not just a missing persons case, it was a story that captured the imagination, a puzzle that lay hidden beneath the canopy of one of the most mysterious places on Earth. On the morning of September 26th of 2010, with the vistas of Yellowstone National Park as a witness, an unsettling discovery was made at Craig Pass, a secluded spot far removed from the well-trodden hiking trails. There, Stuart Isaac's black 2009 Lexus IS250 sat abandoned, a silent scene against the wilderness. The doors were unlocked with the keys resting inside, as if awaiting his return. This discovery set off a flurry of activity as the National Park Service launched a comprehensive search from both the skies and on the ground. Helicopters sliced through the air while search teams combed the underbrush, each step an effort to pierce the veil of mystery surrounding Isaac's disappearance. Craig Pass, known for its remote beauty and lack of trails, became the epicenter of a growing storm of questions and theories. Why was the car left in such a state, unlocked and ready, as though Isaac had stepped out for a moment, intending to return? The presence of his keys inside suggested a sudden departure, a moment of crisis, or a decision that pulled him away from the safety of his vehicle. This place, far from the paths frequented by tourists and hikers alike, hinted at a desire for solitude, or perhaps an escape. The efforts of the National Park Service to find Isaac were met with silence. The park, vast and indifferent, gave up no clues, and Isaac remained missing. The search efforts, extensive and thorough, gradually wound down, leaving behind a haunting absence where a man once stood. The absence became a space filled with speculation, a narrative incomplete and waiting for an ending that had still not been written. Stuart Isaac's venture into the untamed heart of Yellowstone, despite his lack of experience as a hiker or outdoorsman, weaves an even more intricate web of mystery around his disappearance. This detail paints a portrait of a man stepping far outside his comfort zone, propelled by motives that remain shrouded in the unknown. His last communication, a lengthy phone call to Matsu Evans, an old friend from high school residing in Guam, adds layer and depth to the complexity of this case. This call, made just 2 days before his vehicle would be found abandoned, was out of character for Isaac, who typically leaned on the immediacy of texts and emails to bridge the vast time zones between them. During this unusually long conversation, which was approximately 2 hours in length, Isaac revealed his imminent arrival at Yellowstone, a revelation that, in hindsight, casts a haunting shadow over their dialogue. The departure from their usual modes of communication suggests a profound need for connection, a desire to share or unburden before stepping into the vastness of the park. It hints at the weight of his journey, a prelude to his disappearance that was perhaps heavier with meaning than even Isaac could have articulated at the time. This final act of reaching out, choosing a voice call over the detached brevity of texts, feels like a bridge across the silence that would soon surround his story. This detail of Isaac's story, a man not versed in the wild, yet drawn to one of the most wild places on Earth, coupled with his final, out-of-character communication, threads complex questions and contemplations, leaving those who hear his story to wonder about the thoughts and emotions that propelled him into the heart of Yellowstone. Classified as lost, injured, and/or missing, his story hovers on the edge of public consciousness, scarcely touched by the media spotlight or societal discourse. Isaac, a man whose heritage hails from the Pacific Islands, embodied a blend of characteristics not commonly woven into the fabric of such mysteries. With his dark hair, deep brown eyes, and a stature of approximately 5'9" tall and weighing around 220 pounds, he was not the typical figure one imagines of disappearing into the wilderness. The tattoos adorning his right tricep and each shoulder blade, perhaps markers of personal stories or cultural heritage, and the possibility of a mustache on his face add layers to his appearance and identity. The silence surrounding his disappearance and the lingering absence of awareness casts a shadow over his narrative. It's as if Isaac, with his distinct appearance and untold stories inked onto his skin, stepped into a realm beyond the ordinary, into a narrative punctuated by the mysteries of nature itself. The lack of understanding about his motives for entering Yellowstone, a land of geothermal wonders and wild, untouched beauty, only deepens the intrigue and mystery. What drove a man, seemingly out of his element in the rugged outdoors, to seek something in the wilderness? Was it a quest for solitude, an escape, or a journey towards something undefinable? Isaac's story is a reminder of the many faces that disappear into the unknown, leaving questions behind that echo in the absence of answers. It speaks to the heart of human curiosity and the innate desire to understand why. Why did he go? What was he seeking? And ultimately, where has he gone? In the vast expanse of Yellowstone, amid its beauties and dangers, the story of Stuart Isaac remains a puzzle, a narrative suspended in the silence of the wild, waiting for a voice to bring it back into the light. Trell Evans, at the young age of 25, was the epitome of an avid hiker, with a passion that led him down countless trails and through a variety of landscapes. Trell sought not just the beauty of the natural world, but also the solitude and challenge that it offered. Each hike was not just a physical journey for him, but a spiritual one as well, a chance to connect with the earth and himself on a deeper level. On April 30th of 2023, Trell prepared for what was anticipated to be another mark in his journey as an explorer of the great outdoors. This particular adventure had him set his sights on the Black Rock Campground, a renowned starting point for hikers in the northwest corner of Joshua Tree National Park. Known for its unique geological features, stark beauty, and the mysteries whispered by its ancient landscapes, the park was a haven for hikers like Trell. It was a place where the vast skies met the rugged earth, where every sunrise promised new discoveries. The last day he was seen, Trell carried with him the usual essentials for a hiker, but also an air of excitement for the unknown paths that he would tread. Joshua Tree, with its twisted namesake trees and terrain that ranged from barren deserts to lush oases, was more than just a park. It was a world unto itself, filled with secrets and challenges. Trell's plan was to hike from Black Rock to the Geology Tour Road and then return to Black Rock via the California Riding and Hiking Trail, a route familiar to him, yet always ripe with new experiences. However, what started as a routine excursion into the wilds became surrounded in an air of mystery as the days passed. The park, a place of natural wonder, seemed to have drawn Trell into its fold, keeping him beyond the reach of the world he left behind. As the scheduled date of his return came and went, the mystery deepened. The vast expanses of Joshua Tree National Park, with their allure and danger, had witnessed many stories, but Trell's had taken an unexpected turn into the unknown. Trell Evans had a plan that was both simple and daring. He would start his journey at Black Rock, a familiar base camp hugged by the shadows of Joshua Tree National Park's rugged peaks. From there, his path would weave through the desert, aiming for the Geology Tour Road. This stretch was not just a route, but a passage through time, where each rock and crevasse whispered ancient secrets. His return was to be via the California Riding and Hiking Trail, a ribbon of dirt and dust that snaked through the heart of the park, promising solitude and the raw beauty of the wild. May 5th was marked on the calendars as the day of Trell's return. A friend was to meet him at the same spot where he dropped him off, expecting tales of adventure and sights unseen. But as the clock ticked past the appointed hour, Trell was nowhere to be found. The air, once filled with anticipation, grew heavy with silence. Calls went unanswered, and the horizon, which had once promised the return of an explorer, now echoed with the quiet of his absence. The mystery of his disappearance began to unfold against the backdrop of Joshua Tree's vast landscapes. A place of beauty became a canvas for unanswered questions. Had Trell wandered off from the beaten path, lured by the call of the unknown? Or had the desert, with its unforgiving terrain and hidden dangers, claimed another soul? The initial absence turned into hours, then days, sparking a search that would comb the trails and hidden valleys of the park. Reports were filed, and a sense of urgency swept through the community. The adventurer, who had set out to conquer the trails of Joshua Tree, had vanished, leaving behind a trail of mystery and concern that would soon draw many into the search for answers. As soon as Trell Evans was reported missing on May 5th of 2023, Joshua Tree National Park became the epicenter of a massive search and rescue operation. Park Service officials, understanding the urgency and the risk of the desert, mobilized a team equipped not just with the determination to find Trell, but with the skills honed for precisely this kind of challenge. Trained trackers, experienced in reading the subtle signs of the wilderness, scoured the trails. Searchers, familiar with every hidden valley and secret cave, spread out in a grid, calling out for Trell, hoping for a response. Climbers, ready to tackle the park's imposing rock formations, looked for any clue that might lead to his whereabouts. Even the sky was enlisted in the effort, with helicopters cutting through the air, their crews peering down, searching for any sign of the missing hiker. The park, vast and veiled in secrets, seemed to hold its breath as the search intensified. Day after day, the teams pushed through the heat and the cold, driven by hope and the fear of what they might find. Amid this exhaustive effort, whispers of Trell's fate began to surface. Unconfirmed sightings in Slab City and Wonder Valley sparked a flurry of activity, sending teams to these locations with a mix of hope and skepticism. Slab City, known for its off-the-grid community, and Wonder Valley, with its sparse population and wide-open spaces, offered new mysteries of their own. Were these sightings real, or just a mirage or hope in the vast desert? The search continued, days turning into weeks, with each passing moment stretching the fabric of hope thinner. The desert, a place of stark beauty and deadly challenges, offered no easy answers. Every clue, every reported sighting added a layer of mystery to this disappearance, painting a picture of a man seemingly swallowed by the landscape that he so loved. The efforts of the search teams, a testament to the resolve of those who dared to hope in the face of uncertainty, kept the story alive, even as the desert remained silent about the fate of Trell Evans. In the cold grasp of January, nearly 9 months after Trell vanished into the wilderness, the silence of the desert was finally broken. A group of park rangers, venturing into the Covington Flats area, stumbled upon a scene that would bring a somber turn to the ongoing mystery. There, scattered among the rugged beauty of the desert, were human remains. This discovery, a tragic bookmark in the search for Trell, lay ominously close to a collection of belongings that spoke silently over their owner's presence. Among these personal items, a backpack, unmistakably belonging to Trell, was found. The backpack, along with other possessions scattered nearby, served as a silent testament to the final days of a hiker who had sought solace and adventure in the embrace of nature. The items, each carrying a story of their own, whispered of plans made and journeys undertaken, now halted in the quiet of the desert. The news of the discovery reached Trell's family, who had been clinging to hope amidst the agony of uncertainty. Faced with the task of confirmation, they found themselves sifting through the personal effects recovered from the scene. Each item, a piece of a life that they feared lost, brought a heavy realization. There, in the fabric of a well-worn backpack, the pages of a journal, and the familiar threads of clothing, was the undeniable proof that they had dreaded to find. The belongings, echoes of Trell's spirit, confirmed the worst for his family. This confirmation, though heart-wrenching, brought somber clarity to the months of searching, hoping, and waiting. The desert, which had kept its secrets closely guarded, had revealed a tragic truth. The family, united in grief but fortified by the memories of Trell, faced this new reality with a blend of sorrow and acceptance. In the belongings found near the remains, they found a tangible connection to Trell, a reminder of his love for the wild and his adventurous spirit. The discovery in Covington Flats, while bringing an end to the search, opened a new chapter of mourning and remembrance for those who knew and loved Trell Evans. He was more than just a hiker. He was a seeker for the secrets and silence that the wild could only offer. Standing tall at 6'3", with a frame built by the trails he traversed, Trell was a figure that seemed almost carved out of these very landscapes that he loved. His reddish-brown hair, often under the shadow of a dark green beanie, and a gaze that reflected the depths of his adventures, marked him as the one who belonged to the outdoors. His affinity for hiking was not just a hobby, but a calling. Trell found in the rugged terrains and the serene vistas a solace that the bustling cityscapes could never offer. Joshua Tree National Park, with its surreal landscapes of gnarled trees and shadowed rocks, had become a sanctuary for him. He had wandered its paths many times before, each journey a testament to his enduring quest for peace and understanding of the natural world. These expeditions were not just mere walks through nature, but pilgrimages to the heart of the wild, where he sought to find himself in the vastness of the earth. Behind his passions, however, lay a struggle seldom shared with the world. Trell grappled with his chains of alcohol withdrawals, a battle that shadowed his steps even as he sought liberation in the solitude of hiking. The wilderness offered him a reprieve, a place where he could confront his demons amidst the grandeur of nature. Yet, this very quest for healing underestimated the grip of his condition. The challenge of withdrawal, a silent torment that followed him into the embrace of nature, became an unseen adversary among its trails. Trell's motivation for hiking transcended the physical realms, delving into the psychological need to find balance and healing. The trails offered him a canvas to paint his struggles and victories, a place where the complexity of human endurance met the simplicity of nature's offerings. His journeys were as much about confronting his inner turmoil as they were about exploring the outer world. In the silent majesty of Joshua Tree, Trell sought not just adventure, but a sanctuary where the whispers of the wind and the warmth of the sun spoke to him, offering him a momentary break from the storm within. The disappearance of Trell Evans stirred a profound response from both his family and the wider community. The family, in their quest for answers, reached out through social media, creating a network of support that spanned beyond their immediate circle. The digital beacon of hope became a gathering place for those who knew Trell and many who did not, but were moved by his story. The hiking community, a vast tapestry of individuals who share a common love for the trails, rallied in solidarity. They organized searches, shared flyers, and spread the word, each action a testament to their collective resolve. Amidst the uncertainty, the community's heart swelled with messages of hope, stories of Trell's kind spirit, and shared prayers for his safe return. This outpouring of support showcased the profound impact one soul could have on many, bridging gaps and uniting strangers in a common cause. Trell's journey brought to light the often overlooked challenge of alcohol withdrawal, especially in the solitude of nature. His story underscores the vital importance of recognizing the signs and dangers of withdrawal, particularly for those seeking solace and healing in the wilderness. It serves as a reminder for hikers and adventurers to be mindful of their health conditions and the unique challenges they may face when isolated from immediate medical help. The conversation around Trell's disappearance sparked a crucial dialogue about preparation, the need for awareness of personal health issues, and the importance of not underestimating the severity of withdrawal symptoms. Safety in hiking isn't just about the right gear or knowing the trail. It's equally about understanding one's physical and mental health limits. Trell Evans' story is a narrative woven with love, mystery, and the undeniable pull of nature. His life, marked by an indomitable spirit and a deep reverence for the outdoors, touched the hearts of those who knew him and those who came to know him through his disappearance. The circumstances of his tragic end, while heart-wrenching, serve as a powerful catalyst for change and awareness in the hiking and broader outdoor communities. His journey reminds us of the beauty of nature and the complexities of human health, urging a deeper understanding and preparation for the challenges we may one day face or embrace in the wilderness. In remembering Trell, we are called to advocate for increased safety measures and awareness in outdoor adventures, ensuring that the spirit of exploration is safeguarded by knowledge and care for our well-being. Through his story, Trell Evans leaves behind a legacy that transcends the trails he walked, inspiring a future where the love for adventure is matched by a commitment to safety and health. Kyle Brittain, at 27 years old, was no stranger to the challenging trails and rugged beauty of Hawaii's landscapes. An experienced hiker from Honolulu, he had explored many paths with friends and family throughout his life. His love for the great outdoors was matched by his skills and knowledge of survival techniques, making him well prepared for almost any challenge nature could throw at him. Yet, on August 30th of 2019, Kyle decided to embark on a journey unlike any other he had undertaken before, a solo hike in the expansive Waipio Valley on the Big Island of Hawaii. This decision was out of the ordinary for Kyle, who had always hiked with company. The Waipio Valley, known for its stunning vistas, steep cliffs, and deep cultural significance, is as beautiful as it is treacherous. His father, Steve Brittain, recounted Kyle's resolve to hike alone, expressing concerns over the decision, but trusting in his son's abilities and judgments. On the morning of his disappearance, Kyle set out at around 6 a.m., driving his vehicle to the trail's entrance near the Waipio Valley lookout area. He had informed his family of his plans, marking his route on the trail towards Waimanu Valley, a path framed by a 1,000-foot cliff at a 70-degree angle. This information would later become a crucial piece of the puzzle in understanding his last known whereabouts. By noon that day, a signal from Kyle's cell phone briefly pinged, offering a faint glimmer of his presence in the area. However, as hours turned into night with no word from Kyle, attempts to contact him proved futile. His family's worry deepened, leading to the filing of a missing persons report with the Hawaii Police Department on the evening of August 31st. The valley, a residence of early Hawaiian kings and a site revered for its historical and spiritual significance, had transformed into the backdrop of a perplexing disappearance. The mystery of Kyle Brittain's decision to hike alone, his preparedness, and his sudden vanishing has since echoed through the valleys and communities of Hawaii, igniting a search that would draw in volunteers, experts, and the hearts of many across the nation. Before dawn on August 30th of 2019, Kyle Brittain prepared to step into the unknown. It was an unusual day. Kyle, who usually hiked with friends or family, chose solitude over companionship for his journey into the Waipio Valley. As the first light of the day touched the sky, Kyle gathered his essentials: water, power bars, and his trusted cell phone. These items, simple yet vital, were all he thought he needed for the day's adventure. His father, Steve, watched with a mix of pride and worry. The decision to hike alone had sparked concern. Steve remembered cautioning Kyle about the risks, emphasizing the importance of safety. Despite his vast experience and the countless trails Kyle had conquered, hiking alone presented a new set of challenges, especially in the unfamiliar and rugged terrain of Waipio Valley. Kyle reassured his father with a plan. He would hike the trail towards Waimanu Valley and return before sunset. He shared his route, promised regular check-ins, and with a sense of determination, assured his father of his readiness. The last conversation between Kyle and his family now lingers as a haunting memory. With his preparations complete and his route set, Kyle left in his vehicle, parking it near the trail's entrance as the morning unfolded. The world was unaware that this departure marked the beginning of a mystery that would captivate and concern many. As Kyle ventured into the valley, a place of immense beauty and hidden dangers, his story took a turn toward the unknown, leaving behind unanswered questions and a trail gone cold. With the break of dawn as his only witness, he ventured toward the valley's lookout, the last place anyone would report seeing him. As the day unfolded, Kyle's silence grew more pronounced. Calls to his cell phone went unanswered, texts remained undelivered, and by nightfall, worry turned into alarm. The silence from Kyle, so out of character for the experienced hiker, sent a ripple of concern through his family. The following day, August 31st, the gravity of Kyle's absence sank in. Faced with a day of silence and no sign of his return, his family contacted the Hawaii Police Department. A missing person report was filed, marking the official start of a search that would draw eyes and hearts from across the nation. The report sparked a flurry of activity, with law enforcement and Kyle's loved ones grappling with the sudden turn from an ordinary hike to an urgent search and rescue operation.
The search for a hiker in Hawaii, missing for over a week now. He was last seen near heading towards a steep trail on the Big Island, and ABC's Marcy Gonzalez joins us with more on this now intensifying search. Good morning, Marcy.
Good morning, Eva. This young man's father says he's been hiking since he was 3 years old and did everything right in this situation. He let people know exactly where he'd be and when to expect his next call. And when it didn't come 9 days ago, his family called for help. In this scenic landscape, this morning, a daunting search for this hiker missing for more than a week. Teams scouring the steep, thick terrain of the Waipio Valley on Hawaii's Big Island, determined to find Kyle Brittain.
I have to be optimistic. We all are.
2 Fridays ago, the 27-year-old experienced hiker decided to spend the day on a trail he'd hiked with family in the past. This time, though, setting out by himself.
He never hiked alone. And he said, I want to try it.
He left at 6 a.m., his family saying his cell phone pinged at the top of the trail's more than 1,000-foot cliffs at 8 a.m. Other than his vehicle found parked nearby, there's been no sign of Kyle since.
He wasn't equipped to do an overnight hike. If he's out there surviving, which we hope he is, it's pretty bare essentials he's working with.
But the search team, growing by the day, is well equipped. Helicopters, dogs, and rescuers who know firsthand that anything is possible.
You know, this is a very large area, so we're just trying to make sure that Kyle didn't push really far in.
Javier Canalops is one of the volunteers who found Amanda Eller 17 days after she disappeared during a hike in Hawaii.
I never lose hope of finding him. I mean, Amanda was a perfect example of that, you know, of never losing hope.
This morning, leaning on that inspiration to help fuel this search.
We're all going to be here until we find him.
And his family says it rained the day of Kyle's hike, so it's possible he slipped and is injured somewhere in that valley. They say there's also little cell service there, which would explain why his phone stopped pinging. Teams are heading back out to look for him this morning and raising money on GoFundMe to cover the mounting costs of this search. Whit.
A lot of people hoping for a positive outcome. Marcy Gonzalez for us in Los Angeles. Thank you.
By September 1st, the search for Kyle had mobilized into a full-scale operation. The Hawaiian Police Department and the Hilo Fire Department, equipped with the resolve to uncover Kyle's whereabouts, led the charge. The call for help echoed far and wide, urging the community to come together. Friends, family, and volunteers, driven by hope and the desire to find Kyle, gathered in solidarity. Search dogs, with their keen senses, and drones, with their sweeping views, were deployed to scour the vast expanse of Waipio Valley. These efforts marked the beginning of a tireless quest, a community's united stand against the shadows of uncertainty that had claimed one of their own. The mystery of Kyle's disappearance, deepening with each passing day, became a testament to the bonds that compel us to seek and to never give up hope. As days turned into nights with no sign of Kyle, the search efforts intensified, drawing a wave of support that surged from the heart of the community and beyond. The landscape of the Waipio Valley, with its daunting cliffs and dense forests, presented a formidable challenge. Yet, the spirit of the search teams remained unbroken, fueled by the hope of finding Kyle safe. With the mystery deepening, the call for volunteers echoed far and wide, resonating with a community ready to stand in solidarity. People from all walks of life, bound by a shared purpose, stepped into the unknown, braving the challenging terrain of the valley.
This is day 3 of the search. We brought in rescue dogs from Kauai. We have the helicopters going up. We have ground crews of maybe 6 to 8 people on the ground searching the trails in the valley. The police fire rescue are committed for 2 more days. Then we're probably going to be moving to a community-based search program. The leader of the search team from Maui that was successful in finding the lost woman that was lost for 17 days in Maui, he's here coordinating the search efforts for the community-based program. What we're going to need is volunteers. If you're in physical shape of any kind to hike the trails or hike the valley, we're going to need 100, 200 people to start combing the hillsides, maybe rappel people if we've got that. Any help that you can give. I don't wish this on anybody. It's unbelievable. So any help you can give, my wife Lily and I Kyle's mom, Kyle's brother is here. We've got family all over the islands. We love the support and help we've got so far, but I think we're going to need a lot more. So thank you so much for everything so far.
Is there a contact number that they can call for more information that you have?
You can call my cell, 808-99. Ask for me. My cell's on. We have some coverage up here, minimal, but we are checking all the time.
All right, Steve. Well, good luck in the continued search as we continue to search for Kyle. His last known whereabouts was, can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, he was going to do a day hike, hike the Z Trail. So he came Friday morning at 7 a.m. Somebody saw up here, he asked to use the bathroom where it was. They pointed it out and he said, thanks, have a nice day. And that's the last time anybody saw or heard from him. We've had people in the valley, hikers, everybody, no one's seen or heard anything about him since then. So this is day 3, and knowing he's out there is killing us.
The response was overwhelming, with hundreds of volunteers lending their time, effort, and expertise to the cause. They combed through the thickets, called out Kyle's name, and held onto the belief that their efforts would lead them to him. The logistical challenges of the search were many. The vastness of the area, coupled with its treacherous paths and limited access, tested the resolve of the search teams daily. Yet, innovation and determination led to the deployment of drones, which soared above the canopy, providing eyes in the sky where the terrain was too difficult for volunteers to reach. As the search expanded, so did the outpouring of support in the form of donations. Funds flowed in, not just from locals, but from well-wishers across the nation, all touched by Kyle's story and eager to contribute to the search efforts. These donations help fuel the logistical needs of the operation, from transportation for the search dogs to the hiring of helicopters to sweep the vast expanses of the valley from above. The national attention the case received served to amplify the urgency of the search, casting a spotlight on the mystery of Kyle's disappearance and the collective endeavor to find him. News outlets, social media, and community forums buzzed with updates and calls for assistance, drawing more volunteers and resources to the valley. In the face of adversity, the community's resolve only grew stronger, epitomizing the power of collective action and the unyielding hope of finding Kyle Brittain.
What's happening, everybody? Today is day 11, 12. I think it's 12. It's Tuesday. As you can see, we're going up Z Trail, which is absolutely brutal. Just to start off with, we got teams still in the valley. That's that swamp that we searched yesterday, all the way around the perimeter. You can see just how vast this valley is. But we want to continue to search the ridgeline. Unfortunately, today we don't have access to helicopters to fly us up. Tomorrow we will have 3 teams fly up. That's if we can't find them today, obviously. As you can imagine, most of us are beat. This is actually real small teams. Basically our main team with some local volunteers. We also have some local hunters involved. But I mean, you can see this rugged beauty. That's spectacular. And normally I would be relishing doing this. This is absolutely brutal, especially after the couple of days of hiking we've already had. Just really tough conditions. So just wanted to give an update and show you exactly where we're at, seeing how much energy, focus, determination it is to search this great expanse. We're going up. Talk to you soon. Javier out.
As the search for Kyle Brittain continued, the emotional toll on his family became heart-wrenching. Their daily lives were now consumed by the search, each day passing without Kyle, bringing a heavier burden of worry and longing. Among the volunteers, drone videographers and search experts emerged as key figures, utilizing their skills to pierce the veil of mystery surrounding Kyle's disappearance. The drone pilots, with their eyes in the skies, searched from above, while experts on the ground navigated the treacherous terrain, each step guided by the hope of finding a clue, a sign, anything that could lead to Kyle.
We're just pushing back into the valley again. We're gonna do some gully work and just see if there's any spots that he potentially would have slipped, or just, we don't know at this point, and we're reopening our ideas to things that we think we had checked already. Now that we have a little bit more resources and a little bit more experience, we've got our master diver here who just took a little spill. Didn't go down the cliff though, which is a good thing. But yeah, just hoping we find him today. At this point, closure at any point. You know, it's what we want.
Absolutely, man.
We really want him to be alive, and
absolutely, man.
I want to slap the hell out of him. But the nights are getting harder. The days are getting harder. But we're not going to stop.
Yeah, man.
He's out here somewhere, and that's what keeps us going. So we're just going.
Absolutely, dude. Thank you so much, Sam. All right, guys. Hit you up soon.
As days turned into weeks, the official search efforts began to wane, but the community's determination did not. The mission to find Kyle transitioned into a community-led effort, a testament to the bond and collective will of those involved. The valley, once a place of natural beauty and solitude, had now become a symbol of unity and hope. Kyle's family, at the heart of this endeavor, continued to lead the charge, their faith unwavering. They organized searches, coordinated with volunteers, and ensured that Kyle's story remained at the forefront of the community's consciousness. Their home became a hub of activity, maps lined the walls, and plans were made and remade, each strategy fueled by the singular goal of finding Kyle. In the face of uncertainty, the community's hope remained persistent. The search for Kyle Brittain had brought together people from all walks of life, each contributing in their own way to the efforts. It was this collective hope, this united front, that illuminated the path forward, a beacon in the search for Kyle, keeping alive the belief that he would be found. Today, the search for Kyle remains active in the hearts of those who knew him and in the community that came together in his name. The efforts have evolved, but the hope for Kyle's safe return burns as brightly as ever. Volunteers continue to gather, share stories, and comb through new areas, driven by the belief that Kyle is still out there. The legacy of Kyle's disappearance transcends the immediate urgency of the search efforts. It has woven a fabric of awareness and community support that will endure. His story has inspired initiatives focused on improving hiking safety, emergency preparedness, and the establishment of a support network for families facing similar ordeals. The valley where Kyle was last seen has become more than a backdrop to his mysterious disappearance. It stands as a symbol of communal strength, resilience, and the indomitable spirit of hope. In the search for Kyle Brittain, a community found its unity, a family found its strength, and the world was reminded of the profound impact one person could have on the hearts of so many. The quest to find Kyle goes on, with each day bringing new efforts, new challenges, and renewed commitment to bringing him home. In the serene wilderness of East Idaho, nestled amongst the dense pines and the quiet whispers of nature, lies the Timber Creek Campground. This remote location, known for its tranquility and untouched beauty, became the setting of a baffling mystery that started on a warm summer day, July 10th, of 2015. The Kuntz family, seeking a break from the routine of city life in Idaho Falls, decided on an impromptu trip to the great outdoors. With their 2-year-old son, Dior Koun Jr., affectionately called Little Man by his parents, Jessica Mitchell and Vernal Dior Koun Sr., the family packed up their gear for a simple weekend of fishing and relaxation. Accompanying them were Dior's great-grandfather, Robert Walton, and a family friend, Isaac Reinwand, each bringing years of camping experience, but unaware of the looming tragedy. Upon arriving at the campground, the group set about making their temporary home. The parents busied themselves with setting up camp chairs and igniting a fire in the pit, all while laughing and sharing stories. Nearby, the creek added a soothing soundtrack to their activities. Walton, perhaps feeling the weight of his years, decided to rest inside the trailer, leaving the door open to stay connected to the group. Isaac wandered off to fish, drawn by the lure of the stream's promise. In these peaceful moments, Dior, with his blonde shaggy hair and innocent eyes, was the epitome of a toddler's curiosity. Dressed in a camouflage jacket and blue pants, he seemed just another part of the natural tapestry, a small figure amidst the vastness of the forest. The last detail of normalcy was his attire, cowboy boots, a size too big, known to slip off his tiny feet, a crucial detail later remembered amidst the chaos. As the afternoon sun began to cast longer shadows, Jessica and Vernal informed Walton of their plan to explore the nearby area, assuming he would keep a watchful eye on Dior. However, a critical misunderstanding unfolded. Walton thought Dior had followed his parents and Reinwand down to the creek. The stage was set, not for a peaceful continuation of a family outing, but for a disappearance that would perplex and haunt all involved.
At some point, before we were all as a group, as we started to leave the campground, I remember all of us being together. Whatever happened, right.
Bob wasn't there.
Bob was at the camp, stayed at the camp.
Okay.
As far as I know, I thought baby Dior was still behind us and I was showing Jessica. Like when I went to go show them the fishing hole, like I went down there and showed Jessica where the fishing hole is, and I assumed that, Dior and his dad were right behind me.
Okay.
Or just behind us. It was taking them a little bit to catch up.
And at what point did you and Dior Sr. and Jessica split up? They went somewhere else and you went somewhere, you said earlier, right? You came down the creek closer to the campground and left them up there?
Yeah.
And
I did. I don't know, it was like 5-10 minutes. I showed them, I think it must have been 5-10 minutes.
Okay.
After I did that, I walked towards camp, and I went to another fishing hole to fish. And I was down there fishing for a while, and that's when I noticed Bob was up there on the ridge pacing back and forth. So I asked him what was going on, and he said little Dior is missing. And I was like, what?
The mystery deepened when, after some time, Jessica returned to check on Dior. The casual question to her grandfather, "Where's little Dior?" was met with confusion and the chilling realization that no one knew where the boy was. The shock that rippled through the camp was the first wave of panic that would soon engulf the entire community. This miscommunication marked the beginning of a search that would grow in scale and desperation. As minutes turned into hours without any sign of Dior, the family's distress escalated to a full-blown emergency. The serene setting of the campground, once a place of joy and laughter for the Kuntz family, had morphed into a perplexing mystery, hiding in its shadows that seemed as deep as the woods himself. As the realization that little Dior was missing settled in, the calm of the Timber Creek campground fractured into chaos. The family's initial search, a frantic calling of Dior's name through the thickets and trees, quickly escalated. Jessica and Vernal, panic-stricken, split up to cover more ground, their voices echoing off the dense forest canopy. Meanwhile, Robert Walton, despite his age and confusion over the boy's last known location, tried to retrace his steps, hoping to spot a glimpse of the camouflage jacket among the greens and browns of the woods.
What's the address of your emergency?
I'm actually camping in Ledworth, just outside of Ledworth.
Uh-huh.
My 2-year-old son, we can't find him.
How long has he been missing?
About an hour.
An hour?
Yeah.
Are you by water?
Yes.
Do you know which campground you're in?
It's Stone Reservoir, Timber Creek.
Stone Reservoir?
Yeah, or Timber Creek.
Hold on. We need search and rescue. Jessica? Jessica?
Yeah.
What's your son's name?
Or
Okay, what is he wearing?
he was wearing cowboy boots, a blue, hair, like pajama pants, and a camel jacket, and he's got shaggy blonde hair.
Is your husband calling too?
Like, all down where we were camping at, and we can't find him at all.
Okay, we need you to stay within cell service. We've got people going on the way.
Thank you.
A quiet afternoon was soon pierced by the sounds of sirens as local law enforcement arrived. Dior's disappearance had turned from a family concern into an official search operation. The campground became a hub of activity, with officers coordinating with volunteer search teams. The landscape, once an idyllic backdrop for a family getaway, transformed into a sprawling, ominous puzzle where every tree and bush could be hiding secrets. Search teams fanned out from the campsite, calling out for Dior, the sound of their efforts bouncing hauntingly in the open air. As they moved through the underbrush, the rustle of leaves underfoot seemed unnaturally loud. Search dogs were brought in, their handlers guiding them through the possible paths Dior might have wandered. The dogs sniffed diligently, their behavior watched eagerly by everyone, each change in their demeanor sparking a flicker of hope or a sinking feeling of despair. The creek, with its gentle flow and slippery banks, posed a particular worry. Divers suited up and went into the cold, clear water, feeling their way beneath the surface for any sign of the child. Above them, drones buzzed, providing aerial views of the rugged terrain, their cameras scanning the landscape for any anomaly that might be a small boy alone and afraid. As the sun began to set, the forest shadows grew longer and the temperature dropped. The light that once illuminated the campground now cast long, dark shadows, making the search efforts even more urgent. Portable lights were set up around the area, casting an eerie glow as the search continued into the night. Volunteers gathered around maps, their faces drawn and worried, discussing the next place to check. With each passing hour, the mystery of Dior's whereabouts deepened. The initial theory that he might have simply wandered off seemed increasingly insufficient, as no trace of him was found. Speculation began to swirl among the search parties and the gathered media. Had Dior been taken? Was there an accident that they had not yet uncovered? The lack of evidence only fueled more questions. The campground echoed with the murmur of urgent conversations and the distinct calls of searchers refusing to give up. The atmosphere was tense, with the fear of the unknown looming over the efforts of the search team, who combed through every inch of the surrounding area, driven by the hope of finding Dior safe, but hindered by the growing realization that the forest might not give up its secrets so easily. The search for Dior Koun Jr. reached its most critical and intense moment nearly 4 days into the operation. The arrival of cadaver dogs, trained specifically to detect the scent of human remains, had brought a tense anticipation to the Timber Creek campground. The atmosphere thickened with a mix of hope and dread as teams prepared for what the dogs might find. As the dogs began their work, moving methodically through the dense undergrowth that surrounded the campground, all other activities seemed to pause. Searchers, family members, and law enforcement officers watched in suspense silence, each step the dogs took charged with potential significance. The handlers led their canine partners with a calm efficiency, but the gravity of what they might discover weighed heavily on everyone's mind. Then, in a moment that felt both sudden and inevitable, one of the dogs alerted strongly near a patch of brush not far from where Dior was last seen. The dog circled, sniffed aggressively, and sat down, a signal that something was there. The handler marked the spot and called over the radio for the investigative team. Heartbeats quickened and breaths were held as the area was cordoned off, the natural sound of the forest seeming to fall away until there was nothing but the soft murmur of the creek in the distance. The search team moved in with shovels at the site. Observers held their breath, hoping for any sign that might bring closure, but also fearing what might be uncovered. As the excavation continued, the tension was palpable, with each shovel of earth turned over bringing a mix of hope and heartache. After hours of meticulous work, the lead investigator stood up, turning to address the anxious crowd of onlookers. He held up a small object for all to see. It was not the discovery everyone feared. Instead, it was a bone. But immediately, there was a twist in the tale. Preliminary examination suggested it was not human. It was likely from an animal. This revelation brought a complex flood of relief and frustration. Relief that they had not found evidence of a tragic end for Dior, but frustration because the mystery of his disappearance remained as dense as the forest around them. This moment marked the peak of the search efforts in both scale and emotional intensity. The campground, once a place of leisure and escape, had transformed into the epicenter of an agonizing mystery. The failure to find conclusive evidence left the search teams and the family in a state of suspended despair. Questions swirled like the leaves in the chilly wind. Where could Dior be? What had happened to this little boy whose disappearance had captured the hearts and fears of so many? As the searchers packed up their tools and the crowd began to disperse, the forest seemed to reclaim its stillness. The shadows, once again just shadows, hiding nothing, or so it seemed. The case remained open, the answers elusive, and the pain of not knowing continued to haunt all who were involved. The climax of the search had passed, but the resolution of Dior's story was yet to be found, leaving a lingering echo of the mystery in the cool mountain air. As the initial surge of activity following the inconclusive discovery by the cadaver dogs began to wane, the search for Dior Koun Jr. transitioned into a more subdued phase. The large teams of volunteers and the constant buzz of activity around the campground slowly dissipated, replaced by a quieter, more persistent investigation. Law enforcement continued their efforts, but with each passing day, the trail seemed to grow colder. The parents, Jessica and Vernal, faced increasing scrutiny. Their initial confusion and panic slowly turned into a deep, worrisome anxiety as they were questioned repeatedly by the police. The lack of new evidence meant that this investigation had to rely more on piecing together the family's activities and statements from the day Dior disappeared. This meticulous process revealed inconsistencies in the timelines provided by the parents and the other adults on the trip, casting a shadow of doubt and suspicion over all their accounts. Meanwhile, private investigators hired by the family brought in their own theories and suspicions to the table, but they too found themselves mirrored in the complexities of the case. Each new theory seemed only to add more questions rather than providing answers. As they dug deeper, interviewing witnesses and re-examining evidence, their findings led to public statements that did not always align with the official police investigation, creating a confusing narrative for the public following the case. The media coverage, which had been frenzied during the initial days of the search, began to take on a more speculative tone. News reports frequently highlighted the mysterious aspects of the case, often focusing on the emotional torment of the family and the community's continued interest and involvement in finding Dior. This sustained media attention kept the case in the public eye, but also pressured the investigators to pursue every possible lead, no matter how small or slight that it seemed. As weeks turned into months, the energy of the search dimmed. Search teams still returned to the campground periodically, driven by new tips or just a determined hope of finding something overlooked in a previous search. These efforts, however, felt more like rituals of hope than actionable leads. The community also remained engaged, holding vigils and creating memorials for Dior. The small town was bonded by the tragedy, with residents continuing to support the family and each other, even as the mystery lingered like a heavy fog over their daily lives. Yet, beneath this communal solidarity, there were whispers, rumors that questioned every detail of the parents' version of events. This period of the investigation was marked not by the frantic activity of the initial search, but by a slow, grinding process of examination and re-examination, of waiting for a breakthrough that seemed increasingly unlikely to come. The mystery of Dior's disappearance settled into the landscape of the campground, an unresolved shadow that lingered long after the search teams had packed up and gone. Years after Dior Koun Jr. vanished from the Timber Creek campground, the case remained an open wound in the community and a haunting presence in the lives of everyone involved. Despite exhaustive searches, numerous interviews, and endless speculation, no conclusive evidence had emerged to provide closure or comfort to those left behind. In the small community near Leadore, Idaho, Dior's disappearance had become a somber legend, a story whispered among locals and a reminder of the boy who just simply vanished. The campground itself had become a site for those who followed the case or found themselves touched by the family's struggle. People sometimes left toys or flowers near the site where Dior was last seen, a small gesture to honor his memory and express hope, however faint. For Dior's family, particularly his grandparents, the years did little to ease the agony of not knowing. His grandmother, Trina Clegg, remained a vocal presence in the media, her face lined with grief of the years without her grandson. Each anniversary of his disappearance prompted new interviews, where she repeated her resolve never to give up hope of finding Dior or learning what happened to him. Her home bore the marks of the missing boy, with pictures of Dior's bright smile and somber images from the search posters. Law enforcement officials periodically reviewed the case, each new sheriff or investigator pledging to look at the evidence with fresh eyes. Yet, despite these efforts, the mystery endured, each review seemingly only to deepen the puzzle. The file on Dior Koun Jr. grew thicker with reports and theories, yet remained painfully thin on answers. The theories about what happened to Dior continued to circulate: abduction, an unfortunate accident, or something darker tied to the inconsistencies in the parents' account. Online forums and social media groups dedicated to the case often buzzed with amateur sleuths debating these theories, each new post striving to shed light on the cold trails left in the wake of the investigation. The impact of the case extended beyond the immediate family and community to touch a nationwide audience. Documentaries and true crime shows revisit this story regularly, drawing in viewers with eerie details and the interviews with the family members. Each retelling serves to underscore the haunting absence of resolution and the gripping pull of this unsolved mystery. Ultimately, the story of Dior Koun Jr. was one of absence and enduring mystery. The landscape of the Timber Creek campground continued to bear silent witness to the unresolved fate of the little boy lost. The echoes of what might have happened to Dior lingered in the mountain air, a haunting reminder that not all stories find their conclusion, leaving instead a lasting legacy of uncertainty and sorrow. In the vast and wild heart of Oregon, nestled among the towering mountains and dense forests, lies Sparks Lake, a serene yet haunting backdrop for one of the most mystifying disappearances in Oregon State's history. It was here, in the autumn of 1969, that Robert Winters, a 78-year-old avid hunter, vanished without a trace. Robert, accompanied by his sons, had ventured into this well-known hunting ground, a place they had returned to year after year, drawn by the promise of solitude and the thrill of the hunt. This particular trip, however, would tell a narrative far removed from their annual expeditions. As the leaves turned and the chill of fall began to settle over the landscape, Robert set out with his rifle and his knowledge of the wild, embarking on what was supposed to be a day like any other in the great Oregon outdoors. But as the hours ticked by and night began to fall, it became clear that something had gone profoundly wrong. Robert did not return to camp, igniting the onset of a search that would span seasons and capture the attention of locals and beyond. The mystique of Sparks Lake, with its panoramic views and rugged terrain, transformed from a scenic hunting locale to the center of an enduring puzzle. Situated between the imposing silhouettes of Broken Top Mountain and Mount Bachelor, the area's natural beauty belies the harsh and unpredictable nature of the wilderness. It's a place where elements converge, landscapes clash, and beauty mingles with danger, setting a dramatic stage for Robert's inexplicable disappearance. The incident opens a gateway into a mystery that remains unsolved, weaving a tale of man versus nature, of sudden silence amidst the whispers of the wild. The story of Robert Winters is not just a recounting of a man lost. It's a narrative steeped in the mysterious allure of the natural world, a reminder of its untamed and unscrutable character. The Winters family tradition was not just a series of annual hunting trips. It was a legacy, a ritual that bound Robert and his sons, Charles, George, and Alvin, together with the threads of anticipation and shared adventure. For over 2 decades, these expeditions had been a constant, a time for reconnecting with both nature and each other in the rugged heartland of Oregon. The familiarity of Robert and his sons with the area around Sparks Lake was profound. The trails, the best spots for camping, and where the game was likely to roam were all knowledge passed down and honed over years of experience. This deep understanding of the landscape makes Robert's disappearance all the more baffling. How could a man so in tune with the wilderness, so aware of its dangers, simply vanish without a trace? The very familiarity that should have safeguarded Robert seemed to betray him, as the wilderness he knew so well cloaked its secrets tightly, leaving no trace of his fate. The landscape of Sparks Lake, beloved and well-trodden by the Winters family, transformed from a setting of yearly reunions into the backdrop of an unfathomable mystery. On the crisp morning of October 8, 1969, the Winters family camp was alive with the routine bustle of preparation. It was a day like many others they had seen before, a moment suspended in the chill of autumn, teetering on the cusp of another hunting adventure. Robert, with the ease of someone embarking on a familiar journey, set off from the camp, rifle in hand, a casual farewell hanging in the air. It was a normal departure, set among the sprawling beauty of Oregon's wilderness. The sky overhead was a vast expanse of clarity, but the air carried a whisper of change, hinting at the weather's fickle nature. As the day unfolded, the sun traced its arc across the sky, unmarred by the clouds that would later gather. Robert's absence, as first noted without concern, grew heavy with significance in the hours that waned. The routine expectation of his return by dusk morphed into a growing unease. The light faded, painting a shadow deeper into the forest, and Robert did not emerge from the embrace of the wilderness. The family's initial concerns were amplified as darkness fell upon the camp, and a silence, thick with worry, settled over them. Nature seemed to respond in kind as the first signs of heavy snowfall began to accumulate, whispering through the trees and blanketing the ground in a swift, cold shroud. This unexpected weather transformation added a layer of urgency to their worry. The benign environment they had welcomed in the morning had turned treacherous, complicating any efforts to search for Robert. The night passed with no sign of him, the family's anxiety mounting against the backdrop of an increasingly impenetrable wilderness. The serene setting of their annual hunting trips had, within mere hours, spiraled into the stage of a perplexing mystery, a loved one lost to the forest, with nature cloaking his steps in snow and silence. As concern for Robert Winters turned into tangible fear under the cloak of night, his family wasted no time in reaching out for help. The authorities were notified, ushering in the commencement of a search and rescue operation that would soon swell in scale and intensity. The family's call for assistance echoed across the community, rallying a collective effort to uncover Robert's whereabouts. Yet, as volunteers and officials mobilized, the weather emerged as an unforeseen adversary. The snow, which had begun as a whisper in the darkness, grew into a relentless storm, laying down a thick blanket that obscured tracks and transformed the landscape into a monochrome maze. The worsening conditions threatened visibility and accessibility, presenting a daunting obstacle to the rescuers' endeavors. In response to the urgency of the situation, the search efforts expanded rapidly. A diverse assembly of search parties took to the ground, each step forward a defiance against the snow's silence. Tracking dogs, with their keen senses, were enlisted in the hope that they might succeed where human eyes had failed. Helicopters were also called into service as they buzzed overhead, their pilots peering down through the wintry veil in search of any sign of Robert. It was from one of these aerial vantage points that a glimmer of hope emerged, tracks spotted near Soda Creek, a silent testament to Robert's passage. However, this discovery was far from a resolution. The tracks, though a tangible clue, led the searchers through a challenging terrain that had tested both their resolve and their resources. The area around Soda Creek, rugged and untamed, became the focal point of an intensified search. Yet, as the rescuers navigated the harsh landscape, the mystery only deepened. The tracks, a fragile thread in the vast tapestry of the wilderness, eventually faded, leaving no further sign of Robert's fate. Despite the dedication of those involved, Their efforts of the search was met with more questions than answers, the mystery of Robert's disappearance compounded by the very nature that he had so loved. Robert Winter's disappearance took a turn toward the profound when, in the warmth of the following summer, a hiker stumbled upon a clue that had eluded the searchers through the cold months. Dr. Jack Crosby, exploring near Soda Creek just beneath the line where the trees give way to the sky, found objects silently resting on the ground. These were no ordinary items. They belonged to Robert, the man who had vanished into the whispering wilderness. Among the discoveries were Robert's hunting gear, glasses, and a piece of clothing, each item a silent sentinel of his last known moments. Strikingly, amidst the belongings that spoke of a life once lived, there was a palpable absence. Robert himself remained missing, with no trace of his physical presence to be found. The sheriff's department promptly responded, conducting a thorough examination of the site where Dr. Crosby made his find. What they encountered only deepened the mystery. The condition of the clothing, laid out as if to mark the end of a journey never completed, was perplexing. There was no disarray, no signs of a violent struggle or attack from an animal. Instead, the garments appeared to have been removed with deliberation, placed beside Robert's rifle, which leaned against a tree as if standing guard. Deputies Mel Newhouse and Norman Thrasher, tasked with investigating this curious scene, found themselves confounded by the evidence before them. The lack of any remains, coupled with the orderly condition of Robert's belongings, painted a picture that defied simple explanation. It was as if the wilderness itself had chosen to keep its secrets, swallowing any trace of Robert Winters, but leaving behind these few, silent witnesses. The discovery of the belongings raised more questions than answers, leaving the sheriff's department and the Winters family grappling with the undiminished mystery of Robert's fate. In the wake of Robert Winter's disappearance, a number of theories and speculations began to weave itself through the community and beyond. People pondered over dinner tables and in quiet corners of coffee shops, each theory attempting to pierce the veil of the mystery that the wilderness had drawn around Robert's fate. Some poised that Robert had succumbed to the harsh environmental conditions, perhaps losing his way in the sudden snowstorm that had blanketed the area. Others whispered of wildlife encounters, imagining a silent predator that might have crossed paths with him. Yet for all the speculation, Robert's deep familiarity with the terrain stood as a stark counterpoint to these theories of a simple misstep or a loss of direction. This was a man who had walked these woods for over 2 decades, who knew the land as one knows the lines of their own hand. Such experience cast a long shadow of doubt over the simpler explanations, suggesting that whatever happened to Robert was far from ordinary. The continued mystery, underscored by the absence of any conclusive evidence or remains, left a lasting imprint on the family and the community. The discovery of Robert's belongings had offered a brief flicker of hope, a potential path to closure that quickly extinguished as the search revealed no more. The questions that lingered in the wake of the search party's departure were not just about how or why Robert disappeared. They touched on the very nature of the wilderness itself, on the secrets it keeps, and on the thin veil that separates the known from the unknowable. For the Winters family, the unresolved case was a wound that time struggled to heal. For the community, it was a haunting reminder of the wilderness's indomitable will, a story to be told in hushed tones as a testament to the mysteries that lay in the heart of the forest. Theories and speculations continue to swirl, each as elusive as the last, leaving the mystery of Robert Winter's disappearance to linger in the air like the mist that rolls off Spark Lake at dawn. The disappearance of Robert Winters left a lasting impact on his family and on the hunting community, embodying the unpredictable nature of the wilderness. Marked as one of Central Oregon's most extensive search operations, the case remains part of the local lore, unresolved and haunting. Despite the passage of time, the mystery continues to capture the imagination of locals and enthusiasts alike, fueling ongoing speculation and discussion. Robert's story serves as a reminder of the wild's depths and the enduring human quest for answers in the face of nature's puzzles.
In the search for Michael Bryson, and they are not slowing down 5 days later. KEZI 9 News.
27-year-old Michael Bryson has been missing for more than 2 months now, and the search is still very active.
The disappearance of Michael Bryson.
He went missing in 2020 after telling his parents he was going on a camping trip.
The party, or rave as it's been referred to, took place at the Hobo Campground just outside Dorena in the Umpqua National Forest.
In the expanse of the Umpqua National Forest, an unsettling mystery began to unfold in early August of 2020. Michael Bryson, a 27-year-old resident of Eugene, Oregon, would soon become the central figure in a disappearance that perplexed and alarmed both his community and the authorities. Michael was well known in his hometown for his generous spirit and his love for music, which often saw him at the heart of local gatherings. His personality was as vibrant as the beats he spun as a DJ. As summer reached its peak, Michael planned to attend a week-long birthday celebration that combined the rustic charm of camping with the unrestrained joy of a music festival. The chosen venue, Hobo Campground, was nestled in the dense, lush settings of the Umpqua National Forest, a place that promised not only natural beauty, but a break from the hustle of everyday life. This trip was not just another outing, it was anticipated as a highlight of the summer, a perfect escape into nature with close friends. Before his departure, Michael visited his parents' home in Harrisburg, a small town not far from Eugene. It was here, in the comfort of familiar surroundings, that he shared the details of his upcoming adventure. His excitement was measurable. His eyes lit up as he spoke about the people he would meet and the music he would bring to life in the forest. His parents, accustomed to their son's adventurous spirit, listened intently, sharing in his enthusiasm while silently nursing the usual parental concerns that flutter about when either a child or adult ventures from home. Michael's journey from his parents' home to the Hobo Campground was uneventful, marked by the scenic drive through Oregon's picturesque landscapes. Upon arrival, he was greeted by the sight and sounds of a party already in motion. Friends and acquaintances, some he had not seen since before the world was gripped by the pandemic, welcomed him with open arms. The campground was alive with energy as tents dotted the sites, lights strung between the trees, and in the distance, the steady pulse of electronic music beckoned. As he set up his own campsite, Michael could feel the pulsing energy of the forest around him. The trees seemed to sway rhythmically with the music, and the night sky was a blanket of stars, undisturbed by city lights. The setting was idyllic, yet, as the night drew on, the isolation of the wilderness around them could not be ignored. It was in this vast, open space that the line between festivity and vulnerability would blur, setting the stage for a disappearance that would captivate and mystify all who heard about it. The mysterious elements of Michael's last known location, the remote and primitive Hobo Campground, the imposing forest, and the joyful yet chaotic nature of a rave in such a setting, all of which contributed to the eerie prelude of his story. Little did anyone know, this vibrant beginning would soon take a turn into the unknown, leaving behind nothing but questions and a haunting silence of the woods where he was last seen. As the vibrant night progressed at the Hobo Campground deep within the Umpqua National Forest, the atmosphere thumped with a mixture of music, laughter, and the rustle of leaves in the evening breeze. The event, a blend of a birthday celebration and a rave, had drawn a diverse crowd of attendees, all there to enjoy the escape in the wilderness. Michael Bryson, known among his friends for his charisma and DJ skills, was right at the heart of it. The evening started promisingly as Michael took to the makeshift stage to perform a DJ set that perfectly captured the spirit of this gathering. His music, a mix of vibrant beats and soulful melodies, resonated through the crowd, setting feet moving and spirits soaring. As he spun track after track, the connection between him and the audience seemed unbreakable, a shared moment of joy that defined the start of what was meant to be a memorable night. However, as the night wore on, the initial euphoria began to give way to a more chaotic undertone. The isolated setting, combined with the consumption of alcohol and other substances, started to alter the mood among the partygoers. Michael, who was at the center of this whirlwind, appeared increasingly out of sorts as the nights drew into the early morning hours. Friends later recounted seeing him agitated and restless, a contrast to the elated DJ who had owned the stage just hours earlier. Around 4 a.m., the situation took a mysterious turn. Michael abruptly left the bus that served as the central hub for the rave, stepping out into the dark forest. His departure was sudden and without any clear indication of his intent. Concerns quickly escalated when a text message surfaced from one of the attendees. Also, we may or may not have spun Michael out, and he is lost in the woods. This message suggested that Michael might have been profoundly affected by substances, enough to disorient him and impair his ability to navigate the treacherous woodland safely. The term spun out gains a chilling significance, especially when paired with the cryptic text message about his condition on the night he vanished. The Urban Dictionary definition of spun out describes a state induced by excessive use of powerful stimulants like methamphetamine or synthetic drugs, which can lead to severe paranoia, disorientation, and erratic behavior. This state is marked by symptoms such as fear of law enforcement and bizarre, repetitive behaviors. Michael's sudden and unexplained departure from the bus at the party might suggest that he was experiencing some of these intense effects. His behavior, as described by the unsettling text, implies that he could have been suffering from a severe level of distress and confusion, exacerbating his vulnerability in the wild. The dense and dark forest, combined with his possible impairment, would have significantly increased the risks that he faced, painting a grim picture of his last known hours. Given the mysterious and alarming circumstances, the search efforts could have been influenced by concerns over his mental and physical state, focusing on areas where someone in a confused and agitated state might wander. This adds a layer of urgency and complexity to the search, as rescuers might not only be looking for someone who was physically lost, but also psychologically distressed and unable to seek help effectively. The broader understanding of what it meant to be spun out helps illustrate why Michael's disappearance was particularly perplexing and worrying for those searching for him. It emphasizes the critical need for timely and thorough search and rescue efforts in such cases, where an individual's condition could drastically worsen their chances of surviving in the wilderness. This revelation sent ripples of worry through the group. A sense of unease began to permeate the crowd. Discussions about what the text could mean and whether Michael was in a state to look after himself became more frantic. The search for Michael did not fully begin until the full daylight illuminated the dense forest, revealing just how daunting the task of finding him would be. The delay in organizing a search, combined with the cryptic, last known circumstances of his departure, complicated the efforts. The forest, vast and indifferent, kept its secrets as the search teams prepared to delve into its depths. The realization of Michael Bryson's disappearance did not dawn immediately on the partygoers at the hobo campground. It was only as the night's festivities waned and the clear light of day began to break through the dense canopy that the gravity of the situation became apparent. What had started as a night of joy and connection had slipped into a scenario fraught with uncertainty and fear. As the morning unfolded, the initial inquiries into Michael's whereabouts transformed into a deep, communal concern. Friends retraced steps, and the last sighting of Michael was scrutinized, all painting a picture of his unexpected and unexplained departure. His parents, not hearing from him as expected, felt a growing unease that something was terribly wrong. The alarm was raised officially late in the day, much later than the critical initial hours following his disappearance. By this time, the chances of finding Michael quickly and safely were diminishing. His parents, struck by a profound fear that every parent dreads, rushed to the campground. Expecting a coordinated effort by the search teams, they were met instead with a disorganized and seemingly indifferent response from the local authorities and the partygoers who were still on site. The search for Michael officially began that evening, almost a full day after he was last seen. The delay was critical and detrimental. His parents, now desperate, spearheaded the efforts, organizing the search parties, mapping out the area, and coordinating with local search and rescue teams. The campground, once a site of a festivity, turned into a command center for the search operation. As the search expanded, the vastness of the Umpqua National Forest became a formidable adversary. The terrain was rough, with thick underbrush, steep ravines, and extensive ground to cover. The forest, which had so recently echoed with the sounds of music and laughter, now seemed ominously silent, as if holding its breath. Search teams called out for Michael, their voices echoing through the trees, met with only the rustle of leaves in response. The mystery of Michael's whereabouts deepened with each passing hour. Aerial drones buzzed overhead, scanning the forest floor. Horseback teams navigated the more inaccessible areas, and volunteers lined up, shoulder to shoulder, to comb through the underbrush. The community's response was a contrast to the initial casual reactions, now marked by urgency and a sense of growing dread. The fading light of each day brought the chilling realization that Michael might not be found easily or at all. With every shadow cast by the setting sun, hope dwindled, and the forest seemed to grow larger and darker, a vast expanse hiding a mystery that no one was prepared for. The search efforts, fraught with emotional and physical exhaustion, reflected the harsh reality with each hour that passed. The likelihood of finding Michael alive and well diminished significantly. As the initial fervor of the search for Michael Bryson began to wane, the efforts transitioned into a prolonged and grueling phase. Weeks turned into months, and the dense Umpqua National Forest continued to keep its secrets, offering no clues to Michael's whereabouts. The exhaustive daily searches gradually scaled down, yet the determination of Michael's family and close friends never faltered. They continued to organize weekend searches, reaching out to experienced trackers and anyone who could help navigate the challenging terrain. The mystery of Michael's disappearance deepened with each fruitless search. Every uncovered footprint or piece of discarded clothing led to dead ends, further compounding the frustration and heartache felt by those looking for answers. The forest seemed impenetrable, a vast green expanse that swallowed up any trace of Michael. It was as if the earth had opened up and taken him, leaving behind nothing but echoes of his last known night. Inconsistencies in the stories from the last people to see Michael alive fueled various theories and speculation. Some believed he might have decided to walk away from his life, overwhelmed by undisclosed pressures. Others suspected foul play, a theory that his abrupt and uncharacteristic disappearance seemed to support. The lack of concrete evidence made every hypothesis as plausible as it was haunting. Volunteers and law enforcement combed through the area with drones that swept the skies and divers who plunged into the nearby lakes, searching for any sign that could lead to Michael. The community rallied with vigils and fundraisers, maintaining public interest and hope, keeping Michael's story alive and in the media and on social media platforms. Despite the dwindling leads, the search efforts revealed the resilience and depth of the community's commitment to finding Michael. His parents, driven by a profound need for closure, continued to push for answers. They met regularly with investigators, pored over maps, and reviewed hours of drone footage, desperate for a breakthrough. As the seasons changed, the harsh weather conditions added another layer of difficulty to the search efforts. The cold, wet months made the terrain even more treacherous, and the reduced daylight hours shortened the window for searching. Yet, through rain and cold, Michael's family and the community's resolve only seemed to strengthen, bound together by the shared sorrow and collective hope for resolution. This ongoing struggle to find Michael created a somber bond among those involved, each person driven by a mix of hope, duty, and the haunting realization that the mystery might never be solved. The forest, once a place of refuge and joy for Michael, had become a somber symbol of loss and unresolved mystery, its silence a constant reminder of all that remained unknown. Months after Michael Bryson's disappearance, the dense foliage of the Umpqua National Forest continued to hold its silence, deepening the puzzle surrounding his fate. The vibrant energy and promise that once marked Michael's presence at the hobo campground seemed a distant memory, overshadowed by the pervasive mystery and sorrowful wait for answers. The Bryson family, supported unwaveringly by a community that refused to let Michael's story fade into obscurity, found themselves in a state of suspended grief. The forest, a sprawling entity of both beauty and menace, appeared to guard its secrets jealously, frustrating the efforts of even the most determined searchers. As the investigation continued, it transformed from a frantic search into a more methodical, albeit agonizing, quest for any piece of evidence. Michael's parents pored over every detail, revisiting the same spots repeatedly, each visit a reminder of the passage of time without resolution. They organized community meetings, kept in constant contact with detectives, and maintained a presence in the media to ensure that their son's case remained in the public eye. The lack of evidence and definitive leads prompted broader questions about the nature of disappearances in wilderness areas, drawing attention from experts in search and rescue operations, psychologists, and criminologists. Discussions about safety in remote settings, the effects of substance use in vulnerable situations, and the psychological impacts of unresolved cases filled community forums and social media discussions. Symbolically, the forest became a reminder of life's fragility and unpredictability. Each tree, path, and creek in the national forest had been scrutinized, yet the vastness of the wild seemed only to grow, as if mirroring the expanding gap between the known and the unknown. The echoing void left by Michael's absence resonated through a community, a constant call to understand, to remember, and to learn. In this lingering phase of not knowing, the Bryson family and their supporters found a certain strength in unity and purpose. They established foundations to support other families dealing with similar agonies, advocating for better resources in wilderness and search and rescue efforts, and also for the greater awareness about personal safety among partygoers and adventurers alike. As the years passed, the narrative of Michael Bryson did not conclude with clear answers, but evolved into a larger dialogue about loss, hope, and the human capacity to seek truths against dawning odds. The forest, with its undisturbed depths and silent watch over the secrets that it holds, stood as a solemn testament to the enduring search for Michael, a search that, in its essence, transcended the physical and ventured into the heart of human resilience and collective memory. The story of Michael Bryson, unresolved yet unforgettable, continues to echo through the trees, a lingering reminder of the search for truth in the shadows of uncertainty. The story of Dr. Sam Dubal, a man whose disappearance in the wilds of Mount Rainier National Park has left a void in the hearts of those who knew him and a puzzle for those drawn to the mysteries of our natural world. Dr. Sam Dubal was not just like any other hiker lost to the unpredictable whims of nature. He was a beacon of intellect and passion, a 33-year-old assistant professor at the University of Washington. His life was a testament to the pursuit of knowledge and the exploration of the vast, untamed wilderness. Sam's love for the outdoors was matched only by his academic rigor. A seasoned traveler, he had ventured through the rugged terrains of the Himalayas, where the earth touches the sky, seeking not just adventure, but a deeper connection with the world around him. But who was Dr. Sam Dubal beyond the headlines and the search reports? Born with a thirst for understanding the human condition, Sam embarked on an educational journey that saw him graduating from Stanford, immersing himself in the rigorous medical curriculum at Harvard Medical School, and ultimately earning a PhD in medical anthropology from UC Berkeley. His academic pursuits were driven by a profound desire to unravel the complexities of humanity, to explore what binds us in our shared experience and what divides us in our individual struggles. Sam's work and research took him to the heart of Uganda, where he focused on the Lord's Resistance Army, a group as controversial as it is misunderstood. It was here, amidst the backdrop of conflict and resilience, that Sam found the inspiration for his book, Against Humanity: Lessons from the Lord's Resistance Army. This was not just another academic adventure. It was a bold critique of the very concept of humanity, challenging the foundation of human rights and humanitarian missions. Through his writing, Sam sought to illuminate the shadows of the human experience, to question the constructs that define our understanding of good and evil, right and wrong. His journey was not solely about exploring the external landscapes of our planet or the societal structures of distant cultures. It was about an inward quest, a relentless search for truth and meaning in a world that often seems devoid of both. Sam's work bridged the gap between the academic and the personal, inviting us to ponder the essence of our being and the paths we chose to navigate through the journey of life. As we explore the mystery of Dr. Sam Dubal's disappearance, we are reminded of the fragility of human existence and the indomitable spirit of those who dare to question, to seek, and to dream. Sam's story is a reflection of our innate desire to connect with the world beyond the confines of our immediate reality, to venture into the unknown in pursuit of something greater than ourselves. In the silence of the mountains where Dr. Dubal walked, there echoes a call to each of us, a call to explore, to understand, and to cherish the profound mysteries of our universe. In a chapter that would introduce an unwelcome twist in the narrative of Dr. Sam Dubal's life, October 9th of 2020 dawned with the promise of adventure. On this day, Sam embarked on what was to be a solitary journey through the serene landscape of Mount Rainier National Park, choosing the Mother Mountain Loop Trail as his path for exploration. The allure of the trail, with its breathtaking vistas and the tranquil solitude it offered, was irresistible to a soul as adventurous as Sam's. With his preparations complete and his spirits high, he set off into the heart of the wilderness, expected to return by the following day, October 10th. However, as the hours turned into days and unsettling silence took hold, the man who had ventured into the embrace of nature did not return as anticipated. On the day of his departure, fellow hikers and nature enthusiasts reported spotting Sam near Lake Mowich, an area known for its stunning beauty and peaceful surroundings. This sighting would later mark the last known point of his presence in the vast expanse of the park. The realization that Sam had not returned on schedule prompted concern and action. By October 12th, with no word from Sam and no sign of his return, the alarming reality set in. He was missing. The absence of communication from him, a hiker both experienced and well prepared, ignited a flurry of worry among his family, friends, and the hiking community. The news of his disappearance spread rapidly, casting a shadow over the natural splendor of Mount Rainier. As the search for Sam Dubal began, so too did a chapter filled with uncertainty, hope, and the collective desire of a community seeking to find one of their own. In response to Sam Dubal's disappearance, a concerted and extensive search operation was swiftly launched by the Mount Rainier National Park Service, drawing upon the dedication and expertise of both park rangers and a brigade of volunteers. This united effort saw the wilderness combed with meticulous care, as search teams navigated the rugged and diverse terrain of the park with the singular aim of locating Sam. Despite Sam's thorough preparation for his journey, which included a range of equipment designed to ensure his safety and comfort in the wilderness, the search yielded little in the way of clues. The discovery of a water bottle near the Loop Trail stood as the lone tangible link to Sam's path through the expansive natural landscape. This finding, though significant, did not lead to the breakthrough that the search teams and Sam's loved ones had hoped for. As the days passed, the operation faced mounting challenges. The weather, always a force in the high mountains, turned against the search efforts. Poor conditions hampered the ability of the teams to cover ground and thoroughly search potential areas where Sam might have been. Visibility was reduced, paths became treacherous, and the inherent risks of mountain search and rescue operations were magnified under such adverse weather conditions. With each passing day, hope waned as the elements continued to obstruct the search. After several days of relentless effort, faced with the daunting reality of the situation and the unforgiving nature of the environment, the decision was made to suspend the operation. Sam was presumed dead, leaving a void in the hearts of those who knew him and a lingering question in the minds of those involved in the search. The decision marked a sad moment, a pause in the physical search, but not an end to a quest for understanding as to what happened to Dr. Sam Dubal on his hike in Mount Rainier National Park. Mount Rainier is a towering figure in the landscape of the Pacific Northwest. It stands as a sentinel over the surrounding terrain. This majestic peak, reaching an elevation of 14,411 feet, is not only the highest mountain in the state of Washington, but also one of the most iconic features of the Cascade Range. Beneath its serene appearance, however, lies the heart of an active volcano. Its potential for eruption places it among the most dangerous volcanoes in the world, a stark reminder of the raw power of nature. Over the years, Mount Rainier has witnessed its share of hiking accidents, each a testament to the mountain's unpredictable and perilous nature. Despite these dangers, or perhaps because of them, the mountain continues to draw adventurers and nature lovers to its slopes, each seeking to experience the awe-inspiring beauty and the thrill of the ascent. Nestled within this rugged and breathtaking landscape is the Mother Mountain Loop Trail, a journey through some of the park's most stunning and diverse terrains. The trail offers a glimpse into the heart of Mount Rainier National Park, winding its way through lush forests, alpine meadows, and past tranquil lakes. Starting from the Mowich Lake Campground, the trail invites hikers to embark on a journey that is as beautiful as it is challenging. The route leads adventurers past the southeast side of Mowich Lake, through the Knapsack Pass, and into the expansive beauty of Spray Park and Mist Park, areas renowned for their wildflowers and scenic vistas. Despite the inherent risks associated with any hike in such a rugged environment, the Mother Mountain Loop Trail is known for its relative safety, provided hikers are prepared and respect the mountain's conditions. The trail's design and the park's management have worked in tandem to create a route that, while challenging, avoids the most perilous aspects of mountain hiking. Yet, as with any wilderness expedition, the beauty of the trail is matched by the respect it demands for the natural forces that shape it. The legacy of Dr. Sam Dubal extends far beyond the echoes of his footsteps on the Mother Mountain Loop Trail. His profound contributions to the fields of anthropology and medicine have left an indelible mark on the academic world and beyond. Sam was at the forefront of creating radical medicine, a pioneering field that sought to reimagine the practice of medicine through a lens of social justice and anti-racism. His vision for the healthcare system that not only heals, but also addresses the root cause of inequality is a testament to his deep commitment to creating a better world. Sam's personal impact resonates through the heartfelt tributes from his family, colleagues, and the broad academic community. They speak of a man with an unwavering moral compass, whose life was dedicated to the pursuit of justice and the dismantling of racism within the medical field and society at large. His work, characterized by courage and unyielding dedication to his principles, continues to inspire those who were fortunate enough to know him and those who encounter his legacy. The mystery surrounding Sam Dubal's disappearance has galvanized a community united in their desire for answers. Despite extensive search efforts and a petition by Sam's family urging the continuation of the search, no further evidence of his whereabouts has been uncovered. This has led to theories and eyewitness accounts speculating on the circumstances that may have led to his disappearance. Some hikers who have traversed the same trail ponder the possibility that Sam may have deviated from his intended path, leading to an unforeseen accident. The absence of concrete evidence only deepens the mystery and fuels the discussion about what could have transpired in the vast wilderness of Mount Rainier National Park. The impact of Sam's disappearance reverberates through his family, colleagues, and the wider community, leaving a void filled with memories of his passion, kindness, and the relentless quest for justice. The unresolved nature of his disappearance continues to be a source of pain and uncertainty, yet it also serves as a beacon of hope. Hope that one day the answers that are sought will be found, bringing closure to those who loved him. Sam's story highlights the broader issue of missing persons in national parks and the inherent challenges faced by search and rescue operations. It underscores the need for continued awareness, preparedness, and resources to ensure the safety of those who venture into the wild. As we reflect on the legacy of Dr. Sam Dubal and the ongoing mystery of his disappearance, we are reminded of the fragility of life, the strength of the human spirit, and the enduring hope for answers in the face of uncertainty. Nestled in the dense forests of southwest Vermont lies a geographical area shrouded in puzzles and mystery. Known as the Bennington Triangle, this region, akin to the more famous Bermuda Triangle, has been the center of an array of unexplained disappearances and bizarre occurrences. The term was coined by author Joseph A. Citro during a radio broadcast in the 1990s, but the stories and legends date back much further, weaving a tapestry of folklore, unexplained phenomena, and a palpable sense of the unknown. The core of the Bennington Triangle's mystery revolves around a series of strange disappearances that occurred between 1945 and 1950. These cases weren't just typical missing persons incidents. They were laced with peculiarities that defied logical explanations. The vanishings occurred in a similar manner, people disappearing without a trace, often in broad daylight and in areas that they were familiar with. The lack of substantial clues or any trace of the missing persons left the local community and investigators baffled and uneasy. Beyond the disappearances, the Bennington Triangle holds a rich history steeped in Native American folklore and colonial tales. The Native Americans considered this land cursed and avoided it, citing mysterious lights and other unexplained phenomena. Early settlers reported bizarre sightings and inexplicable events, adding layers to the area's eerie reputation. The Glastonbury Mountain, a key feature within the triangle, is often cited as a focal point for these strange occurrences. As we delve deeper into the mysteries of the Bennington Triangle, we will explore the various elements that contribute to its enigmatic aura. From the perplexing disappearances to the ancient lore surrounding the land, every aspect offers a piece to the puzzle. The Bennington Triangle beckons with its unanswered questions and hidden secrets, inviting us on a journey through the shadows of the unknown. James Tedford, a veteran of World War I, had lived through tumultuous times. His decision to re-enlist for service in World War II, despite his advancing years, was a testament to his patriotism and sense of duty. During his absence, his wife, Pearl Tedford, remained in their Vermont home, awaiting his return. The couple, despite their significant age difference, were known to have a harmonious and loving relationship, making the events that followed all the more baffling. Upon returning from war, James anticipated a peaceful reunion with Pearl. However, he was confronted with a bewildering scene. His house was as he left it, with a meal prepared for him, but his wife was missing. Pearl's personal items, her clothing, and essentials were undisturbed, indicating no sign of a planned or hurried departure. The abrupt and unexplained disappearance of Pearl left James in a state of shock and despair. The local community, small and closely knit, mobilized efforts to find Pearl. They searched the nearby areas, questioned locals, but to no avail. The only clue was a neighbor's sighting of Pearl heading to the local store on the day that she vanished. After her grocery shopping, she seemed to have disappeared without a trace. Theories circulated, some speculating she might have left on her own, but those close to the couple dismissed these ideas, citing the couple's apparent happiness and lack of conflict. James's life was deeply affected by Pearl's disappearance. He withdrew from community life, his demeanor changing drastically from an engaging man people knew to someone who was deeply introspective and melancholic. Friends described him as someone who had retreated into a shell, often found in a trance-like state, gazing at nothing in particular for hours. In 1947, struggling with his mental health and unable to cope with his loneliness and unanswered questions, James decided to move home to Bennington. His hope for a change in environment and perhaps some solace did not materialize. He remained a solitary figure, often aloof, spending days in quiet contemplation, haunted by the absence of his wife. Despite his reclusive nature, James occasionally visited family in St. Albans, Vermont. These visits required him to travel by bus along Route 7, a journey that took him through the heart of the Bennington Triangle. This area, already gaining a reputation for mysterious occurrences, would soon add James Tedford to its list of inexplicable events. In December 1949, James made one such trip to St. Albans. His visit with family was uneventful, but the return journey would become a focal point of the Triangle's strange history. James boarded the bus for the return trip to Bennington, a journey familiar to him and one he had made without incident many times in the past. The bus, carrying about 15 other passengers, followed its local route, with no reported stops or incidents. But as the bus approached its final destination in Bennington, a startling discovery was made. Passengers began to disembark, but James Tedford was nowhere to be seen. His belongings, a suitcase, wallet, cash, and a bus itinerary, lay on his seat as if he had just stepped away. However, none of the other passengers, nor the bus driver, recalled seeing James leave the bus. There were no signs of disturbance, no noise or struggle that would have suggested an unusual exit. The seat that had been occupied by James was now hauntingly empty, with no trace of him. The mystery of James Tedford's disappearance set ripples of concern and bewilderment through the community. This was not just another missing person case. It was a disappearance that happened in plain sight, under seemingly impossible circumstances. Theories proliferated, some proposing otherworldly explanations like portals or supernatural forces at play in the Bennington Triangle. Others pondered more earthly explanations, though none could be substantiated. The case of James Tedford, like that of his wife Pearl and others who vanished in the Bennington Triangle, remains one of the most puzzling and unresolved mysteries in the history of Vermont. Their stories, shrouded in uncertainty and speculation, continue to fascinate and puzzle investigators, researchers, and those with an interest in the unexplained. The Bennington Triangle, with its legacy of mysterious disappearances, remains a haunting and inexplicable chapter in American folklore. In 2008, a fascinating and unsettling incident occurred in the infamous Bennington Triangle, involving a 27-year-old Bennington College student named Robert Singley. Robert, a dedicated hiker with a passion for music, was pursuing his PhD in music composition. Seeking inspiration for his string quartet piece, he decided to immerse himself in the natural beauty of the Bennington Triangle. Little did he know, his journey would add a curious chapter to the area's mysterious history. On that fateful day of September 28, 2008, Robert embarked on a solo hike in the same region that had claimed several other unexplained disappearances. Equipped for the rugged terrain, he wore heavy boots, long shorts, a long-sleeved shirt, a wool sweater, a rain jacket, a winter hat, and mittens. Despite his experience as a hiker, he chose not to bring any navigational tools like a compass, GPS, or map. He did, however, carry a headlamp, anticipating a return before nightfall. Starting his hike around noon from Harbor Road in Woodford Hollow, Robert's path led him to the summit of Bald Mountain. After enjoying a lunch with a view, he ventured a short distance north towards Glastonbury, then west towards the White Rocks, before turning east to head back towards his car. After walking about 4 to 5 miles, a disconcerting realization struck him. He was lost. The trail he thought would lead him back to his car seemed to betray him, leading him further into uncertainty. As the day progressed, the environment around Robert underwent a dramatic and eerie transformation. He described an intense, dizzying confusion, like a crescendo of disorientation, culminating in sudden darkness surrounded by dense, disorienting fog. This bewildering experience led Robert to speculate that he might have unwittingly crossed into a time-space anomaly, a theory that aligns with speculations of paranormal energy vortexes thought to exist in the Bennington Triangle. Nightfall brought new challenges. To Robert's dismay, his headlamp malfunctioned, leaving him in near total darkness as rain began to fall. Faced with the imminent threat of hypothermia, he realized he had to stay put and endure the night. Seeking shelter, he found solace under a maple tree, which he described as emanating a strange, almost supernatural energy. The cold and rain made rest nearly impossible, turning his wait for dawn into a test of endurance and will. Back in civilization, Robert's prolonged absence raised alarms. His worried girlfriend contacted the authorities, prompting a search. The police located his car abandoned at the trailhead. An initial search attempt was made, but the team faced near impossible conditions due to the thick fog and impenetrable darkness of the night. In a desperate bid for warmth and visibility, Robert scoured his surroundings for dry tinder. His search yielded large animal bones and eventually small pieces of dry birchwood. With matches and paper from his bag, he managed to ignite a life-saving fire. As dawn broke, Robert attempted to retrace his steps. He wandered 3 to 4 miles before encountering a sign for the Goddard shelter near the peak of Glastonbury Mountain. This discovery confounded him. He believed he had camped only a quarter mile from his car, but had somehow ended up on the opposite side of the ridge, 6 or 7 miles away from his intended location. His return journey was equally mystifying. Passing the maple tree where he had spent the night, the trail seemed unfamiliar, with different-looking pines and downed trees that he had not recalled from the previous trek. Fortunately, the Vermont State Police, along with a tracking dog, resumed their search and eventually located Robert around 11:30 a.m. He was found cold, exhausted, hungry, and psychologically shaken, but crucially, he was alive. Robert Singley's harrowing experience in 2008 is compelling in addition to the lore of the Bennington Triangle. His survival and first-hand account contribute to an ongoing discussion about the area's mysterious attributes, including theories of energy vortexes, dimensional shifts, and other paranormal phenomena. The Bennington Triangle, with its legacy of strange occurrences and unexplained disappearances, remains a source of fascination and speculation. This region, steeped in mystery, continues to challenge our understanding of the natural world and the boundaries of scientific explanation. In the dense, shadow-covered forest of the Bennington Triangle, the disappearance of Martha Jones on November 6, 1950, added a profound puzzle to an area already cloaked in mystery. The sudden vanishing of Martha, a young and vivacious local, sent a wave of unease through her family and the community, raising questions that would echo unanswered throughout the years. Martha's parents, grappling with her unexpected absence, initially clung to the belief that she had eloped with her boyfriend. This theory, however, crumbled when he confirmed he had not seen Martha, deepening the mystery and sparking a widespread search. The woods of Glastonbury, dense and whispering with the secrets of ages, were combed meticulously by search parties, but their efforts were met with silence. No trace of Martha was ever found. Less than a month after Martha's disappearance, on December 3rd, the community's fears were reignited when Frances Chrisman also went missing. Frances had set off on a seemingly innocuous journey to visit a friend just a half a mile away, a journey she never completed. Her disappearance mirrored Martha's in the suddenness and the lack of any clues left behind. Authorities organized another extensive search, but like Martha's, it concluded with more questions than answers. As the years passed, theories abound in an attempt to explain the mysterious vanishings within the Bennington Triangle. Some speculated about the presence of a malevolent person or group hidden in the wilderness, preying on unsuspecting victims. Others, including author Joseph Citro, considered the possibility of an unusual, perhaps paranormal energy in the Bennington Triangle, influencing these disappearances. Intertwined with these modern speculations were folklore of Native Americans, long associated with the land that comprises the Bennington Triangle. The area was believed to be cursed by local Native American tribes who spoke of a sinister, otherworldly force residing within the land. Legends told of a malevolent rock, hidden among the dense terrain that had the power to draw in and consume anyone who ventured too close. These tales spoke of the rock as a living entity, a guardian of the land's secrets, and a devourer of the unwary. Further adding to the intrigue were accounts from individuals who had spent time in the Glastonbury area. They spoke of a special quality to the forest, a sense of being watched, and an eerie quiet that seemed unnatural. Stories emerged of reclusive individuals living off the grid in the mountains, some in rudimentary shelters, others in intricate snow houses. These mountain dwellers, as elusive as shadows, were said to traverse the wilderness with a knowledge and ease that echoed their hermit-like existence. Among these hermits were two brothers, known to occasionally descend from their mountain abode to mingle with the locals and restock supplies. They shared cryptic warnings about other, more reclusive and potentially dangerous individuals who inhabited the deeper, less traveled parts of the forest. These mysterious figures, according to the brothers, would make themselves known only if they wished to be, adding a layer of apprehension to any venture into the wilderness. In this landscape of natural beauty and ancient mystery, the stories of Martha Jones and Francis Chrisman remain etched as haunting reminders of the unknown. The Bennington Triangle, with its blend of rugged wilderness, human intrigue, and whispered legends of ancient curses and supernatural forces, continues to captivate and mystify. The land, steeped in the lore of Native American tribes and the unexplained vanishing of modern times, holds its secrets close, a timeless puzzle nestled in the heart of the Vermont woods. On October 28, 1950, a mystifying incident unfolded in the Bennington Triangle, adding to its already perplexing history of disappearances. Frida Langer, a 53-year-old woman from North Adams, Massachusetts, vanished under mysterious circumstances. Frida, along with her cousin Herbert Elsner and her husband, 58-year-old Max Langer, had set up camp near Somerset Reservoir for a hunting trip, a trip that would soon turn into a baffling mystery. On that fateful day, Frida and her cousin Herbert decided to embark on a hike, a mere few hundred yards from their campsite. Tragedy struck when Frida slipped and fell into a nearby stream, soaking her clothes. Given their proximity to the camp, less than a quarter mile away, Frida chose to return alone to change into dry clothes, asking Herbert to wait for her on the trail. Herbert watched as she ran off towards the campsite, expecting her prompt return. However, Frida never returned. Concerned, Herbert made his way back to the campsite, where Max informed him that Frida had not returned. Alarmed by her unexplained absence, they quickly raised the alarm with the authorities. The ensuing search was extensive. 2 helicopters and a plane from the Westover, Massachusetts Air Force Base were called in, and the plane even landed on the Somerset Reservoir to facilitate a shoreline search. 50 men, including state troopers and game wardens, combed the area until nightfall, and the search continued into the next morning. There was a growing fear that Frida might have fallen into the reservoir, which was only 150 feet from their camp. Max Langer, desperate for answers, offered a reward of $100, equivalent to about $1,233 in today's currency, for any information leading to Frida, dead or alive. Despite the continued searches and heightened efforts, no sign of Frida was initially found. Approximately 6 months later, on May 12th of 1951, Frida's fate came to light in a disturbing discovery. 2 fishermen stumbled upon her body on the banks of the Somerset Reservoir, just above the flood dam. Her remains were found near the start of the East Branch Deerfield River, about 3.5 miles from her campsite. What made the discovery particularly eerie was that this area had been searched multiple times by authorities, with no previous indication of her body. The condition of Frida's body, severely decomposed, obscured the cause of death. While one source mentioned that a doctor at the scene suggested accidental drowning, no autopsy was performed to confirm this. The state's attorney accepted the doctor's assessment without further inquiry. The lack of a thorough investigation left many questions unanswered, particularly about what Frida did in the time between her disappearance and the discovery of her body. Theories about Frida's fate ranged from the plausible to the outlandish. Some speculated she might have wandered further than anticipated and accidentally drowned. Others, however, found the circumstances too strange to accept such a straightforward explanation. Questions were raised about Herbert's role and his account of events, fueling speculation and conjecture. Frida's disappearance and subsequent death remains one of the most intriguing cases in the Bennington Triangle's history. It encapsulates the area's reputation for mysterious, unexplained occurrences that defy conventional explanation. Frida's story is a haunting reminder of the unpredictability and potential dangers of the wilderness, as well as the enduring enigma of the Bennington Triangle. In 1950, the Bennington Triangle was the site of yet another disturbing disappearance, this time involving an 8-year-old boy named Paul Jepson. Paul's vanishing added to the series of mysterious occurrences in this area, each marked by its own peculiar circumstances and unanswered questions. The incident unfolded when Paul's mother, who had attended to feeding their pigs, made the fateful decision to leave him unattended near her truck in a wooded area. This location was ominously close to where Paula Jean Weldon, another victim in the series of strange disappearances in the Bennington Triangle, was last seen. When Paul's mother returned, approximately an hour later, Paul had vanished without a trace, setting off a series of speculations and investigations. Paul's disappearance, like others in the Bennington Triangle, was shrouded in mystery and gave rise to numerous theories. One particularly grim theory suggested that Paul's mother was responsible for his death and had possibly fed him to the pigs. This theory, while lacking concrete evidence, stemmed from the dubious circumstances under which Paul was left alone. Despite these suspicions, no arrests were ever made, and the theory remained unproven. Another theory speculated that Paul, being a young and curious child, may have wandered off, potentially falling victim to an injury, and subsequently to the predatory wildlife in the region. The dense forests of the Bennington Triangle are known to be home to various wild animals, raising the possibility that Paul could have encountered a fatal animal attack. Adding complexity to the case, some believe that Paul was abducted. This theory gained some traction due to the findings of a search involving bloodhounds. The dogs were able to track Paul's scent, but stopped abruptly right at the edge of a highway, suggesting that Paul might have been picked up by a vehicle. Paul Jepson's disappearance remains one of the most puzzling cases associated with the Bennington Triangle. His story, marked by the tragedy of a young life lost and the mystery of his fate, continues to haunt the area. The theories surrounding his disappearance, whether it was a result of wildlife, foul play, or an abduction, contribute to the lore of the Bennington Triangle, a place where the line between the natural and the supernatural blurs, and where mysteries remain unsolved, shrouded in the dense mists of its forests. Now we'll delve into the mystifying disappearance of Paula Jean Weldon, an 18-year-old art student at Bennington College in Vermont. Her case, which has remained unsolved for decades, is a perplexing puzzle that has intrigued both investigators and those fascinated by unsolved mysteries. Paula lived in Stamford, Connecticut, with her family when not at school. Known for her artistic talent and love for the outdoors, she was a multifaceted personality, deeply involved in various artistic mediums, and an avid guitar player. Her interests spanned across art and botany, reflecting her diverse passions. The mystery began unfolding in the winter of 1946. On December 1st, Paula finished her shifts at the university's dining hall and decided to embark on a hiking trip. This decision would mark the start of a mystery that still lingers today. She was last seen leaving her dorm at Dewey Hall when she briefly discussed her hiking plans with her roommate. Despite being dressed for the day's weather, Paula's preparations for the hike were minimal. Notably, she left behind most of her money, including a check from her parents, and set off without necessary hiking gear like extra clothing or a backpack. Around 2:30 p.m., Paula left the campus. She was seen hitchhiking and was picked up by Louis Knapp, a local contractor. She informed him that her destination was the Long Trail off Route 6 near Glastonbury Mountain. Knapp dropped her off about 2.5 miles from the start of the trail. The last confirmed sighting of Paula was at approximately 4 p.m. when she interacted with a group of hikers. She asked them about the length of the trail, learning that it stretched all the way to Canada. After this conversation, she continued her journey northward, venturing into the densely wooded area as dusk set in. Paula's disappearance became apparent when she failed to return. Initially, her roommate thought she had gone to study post-hike, but as hours turned into a night without Paula's return, concern grew. The university was notified, but there was a delay in informing Paula's family, losing critical early hours in the search for her. What followed was a massive search operation involving students, volunteers, National Guard troops, firefighters, and extensive ground and aerial searches. Despite combing through the long trail and its surrounding areas, no trace of Paula was found. The investigation faced challenges due to the absence of a state police force in Vermont at the time. It was only after Paula's father, an influential industrial engineer, exerted pressure on the authorities that more resources were allocated to the investigation. Investigators, including Dorothy Scoville and Robert Rundle, interviewed numerous witnesses and locals, trying to piece together the last known movements of Paula. Adding to the mystery is this case's connection to the Bennington Triangle, a term coined by author Joseph A. Citro. This area in southwest Vermont, known for a series of unexplained disappearances between 1945 and 1950, includes Paula's disappearance as one of its most prominent. The mystery of Paula's disappearance remains unsolved. If alive, she would be 94 years old today. Her case stands as a reminder of the limitations of mid-20th century investigative techniques and continues to captivate those interested in the mysteries of our world. The perplexing case of Paula Jean Weldon, who vanished in 1946 while hiking in Vermont, serves as a reminder of the mysteries that still exist in our world. Her disappearance, which has remained unsolved for decades, highlights several key lessons. It reminds us of the unpredictability and potential dangers of the wilderness, even for those familiar with local trails. Paula's case underscores the importance of preparation and caution when embarking on outdoor activities, especially in isolated areas. Additionally, her story brings to light the challenges of search and rescue efforts in an era before advanced technology and GPS tracking. It also illustrates the enduring pain faced by families of missing persons, a heartache that lasts long after the initial search efforts have faded. Paula's case, shrouded in speculation and mystery, also teaches us the value of evidence-based investigation and the dangers of conjecture without solid proof. It is a testament to the fact that, despite advances in technology and forensics, some mysteries remain unsolved, leaving us with more questions than answers. Paula Jean Weldon's disappearance is a somber narrative that continues to resonate with us, reminding us of our vulnerabilities and the profound mystery that our world still holds. As we explore this and other mysteries, we invite you to share your thoughts and theories in the comments below. The disappearances of Frederick Fritz Drum and Thomas Messick Sr. These stories, set against the backdrop of the enigmatic wilderness of upstate New York, converge in a narrative that challenges our understanding of the natural world. As we unravel the layers of these mysterious cases, we invite you to join us on this journey through the unknown. If you're captivated by these intriguing stories and want to stay updated with more mysteries from around the universe, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to hit that notification bell so you never miss out on our latest explorations into the unexplained. And for those who are particularly moved by these mysteries and wish to support the channel further, consider using the Super Chat feature. Your contributions help us delve deeper into these mysteries and bring even more fascinating content to you. Every bit of support fuels our journey into the mysterious and the unknown. So let's embark on this adventure together and uncover the secrets that await us. In the vast, untamed wilderness of upstate New York, where nature's beauty intertwines with the unknown, lie two stories, both profoundly mysterious and eerily similar. These are the tales of Frederick Fritz Drum and Thomas Messick Sr., two men whose disappearances from familiar terrains defy easy explanation and challenge our understanding of the natural world. Their stories, seemingly separate, converge in a narrative that is as baffling as it is intriguing, set against the backdrop of a region steeped in enigma and mystery. The parallels between the two cases are striking and unsettling. Both men were experienced in outdoor survival, well acquainted with their surroundings, and held in high regard by their respective communities. Their sudden and unexplained vanishings from areas they knew well add a perplexing layer to their stories. The lack of any evidence or clues in such thoroughly searched areas deepen the mystery. What's more, these disappearances occurred in a region that borders the infamous Bennington Triangle, an area notorious for a series of unexplained vanishings. This geographical connection weaves a thread of intrigue and speculation, suggesting a possible link to the larger mysteries of the triangle and the puzzles that are often associated with it. As we delve into these two stories, we are drawn into a world where the line between the known and unknown is blurred. Their tales are not just isolated incidents. They are a part of a larger, more complex puzzle that challenges our perception of reality and the mysteries that lie hidden in the wilderness. Through the convergence of these two stories, we embark on a journey to explore the depths of these mysteries, seeking answers that remain just out of reach. It was a crisp November morning in 2015 when 82-year-old Thomas Messick Sr., an adept and respected woodsman, ventured into the dense forests of Horicon, New York, near Bryant Lake. This area, cloaked in the rich hues of autumn, was familiar territory for Thomas, who had spent countless seasons navigating its rugged terrain. His planned activity was deer hunting, a ritual he had engaged in annually with a blend of passion and expertise. Yet this year, the forest held a different fate for him, one shrouded in mystery and unanswered questions. Thomas wasn't just an ordinary hunter. His profound knowledge of the wilderness was augmented by years of experience, making him more than adept at navigating and surviving in the wild. His wisdom in these areas was not only practiced, but also taught to others, showcasing his deep understanding of forest survival. On that fateful day, Thomas was part of a group of 7, a mix of friends and family, all united by their love for hunting. They congregated near Lily Pond, a tranquil body of water that served as their chosen hunting ground. Their strategy was a classic deer drive, a technique requiring coordination and teamwork. The group was divided into 2. The drivers, tasked with stirring the deer from their hiding spots, and the watchers, positioned strategically to capitalize on the fleeing game. Thomas, along with 3 elder members of the party, assumed the role of the watchers. They positioned themselves in a linear formation, maintaining a distance of less than 100 yards from each other. This careful positioning was meant to ensure visibility and communication within the group, an essential aspect of the hunt. As the day progressed, the drivers moved through the forest, pushing the deer towards the watchers. However, they were met with an eerie silence, an unusual stillness that seemed to have engulfed the forest. The natural chorus of wildlife sounds was conspicuously absent, creating an unsettling atmosphere. Upon reaching the location where Thomas was supposed to be, a wave of confusion and concern washed over the group. Thomas was nowhere in sight. His absence was alarming, especially considering his extensive background in wilderness survival. The immediate vicinity offered no clues. His rifle and walkie-talkie, essential tools for communication and protection, were missing as well. The group initiated a search, scouring the area for any sign of Thomas, but to no avail. As the daylight waned, they contacted the forest rangers, sparking the beginning of a large-scale search operation. The operation stretched into the evening, with part of the group staying behind overnight to make noise in hopes of guiding Thomas back. The search for Thomas Messick Sr. quickly escalated into an extensive and thorough operation. Starting the next day, a team of 13 trained rescue professionals from the Park Service joined the effort. This was only the beginning of a search that would grow to involve over 300 individuals, including professionals and volunteers. They were equipped with an arsenal of search tools, dogs, divers, helicopters, all scouring an area spanning over 4 square miles. Even with such an extensive effort, no evidence or trace of Thomas was uncovered. The involvement of the FBI's Critical Incident Response Group in the search added an element of intrigue. The FBI's presence was unusual, given their standard protocols for missing person cases. Their secretive approach and lack of transparent communication fueled speculation and rumors about the nature of their interest in this case. As days turned into weeks, the mystery only deepened. The lack of any trace of Thomas, coupled with his survival skills and the proximity of his last known location to the rest of the group, made his disappearance all the more perplexing. The area was extensively combed, yet it seemed as if Thomas had just vanished into thin air. Theories were proposed, yet none provided a satisfactory explanation. Was it a sudden medical emergency, an unexpected encounter with wildlife, or something more sinister? The absence of any distress signal, especially considering Thomas's access to a walkie-talkie, only added to the complexity of the case. The puzzle of Thomas Messick Sr.'s disappearance remains unsolved to this day. The forest that was once his hunting ground has become the setting of a profound mystery, one that continues to captivate and baffle. Despite the passage of time, questions linger. What happened to Thomas on that November day? Why did he leave his post? And where could he have ventured off to? The lack of evidence, the thoroughness of the search, and Thomas's expertise in the wilderness combined to create a narrative that is as confounding as it is intriguing. His story stands as a testament to the unpredictable nature of the wild and the mysteries that it still holds. In the tranquil expanse of Schuylerville, New York, a small town known for its beauty and proximity to the notorious Bennington Triangle, the unexplained disappearance of 68-year-old Frederick Fritz Drum on November 24, 2015, casts a long, unsettling shadow. This mystery, entwined with the similar, perplexing case of Thomas Messick Sr., forms a tapestry of unanswered questions and eerie coincidences. Frederick Drum, a man deeply rooted in his community, lived with his wife Ruth on a vast 178-acre farm. Their life there was idyllic, set against the backdrop of upstate New York's rolling hills and landscapes. Fritz, an accomplished hunter and lover of the outdoors, had adapted well to the region's harsh winters. He spent his retirement days exploring the property, observing wildlife, and tracking animals along the creek that meandered through their land. His mental faculties were sharp, with no indications of dementia or cognitive decline. Fritz's contributions to his community extended beyond his love for nature. For 14 years, he had served diligently on Schuylerville's city council. His decisions were fair, and he was both liked and respected, a testament to his character and integrity. On the day Fritz vanished, it began like any other. He and Ruth shared a morning coffee, a ritual embodying the simplicity and comfort of their long-shared life. Ruth left for a grandparents' breakfast at 10 a.m., while Fritz preferred the solace of their farm. When she returned at 2 p.m., the barn was empty, and Fritz was nowhere to be found. His belongings, including his cell phone and car keys, were inside the house, suggesting that he hadn't gone far. As darkness fell upon the farm and Fritz did not return, Ruth's concern turned into alarm. By the next morning, with Fritz still missing, she reported his disappearance, igniting a large-scale search. The Saratoga County Sheriff's Department, alongside over 200 volunteers, search and rescue teams, helicopters, and canine units, embarked on an exhaustive search. They combed through the Drum property and expanded their efforts to an astounding 1,200 acres surrounding the area. Despite this extensive and thorough search, no evidence of Fritz's whereabouts emerged. It was as if he had vanished into the ether, leaving behind a baffling mystery that echoed the strange disappearance of Thomas Messick Sr., who had vanished under similarly mysterious circumstances in the same region just 1 year before. The proximity of these two cases, both geographically and culturally, paints a picture of a region shrouded in mystery. Schuylerville's closeness to the Bennington Triangle, an area notorious for unexplained disappearances, only deepens this intrigue. Some speculate there might be a connection between these disappearances and the mysterious forces often attributed to the triangle. The shared characteristics of Fritz's and Thomas's case are striking. Both were experienced outdoorsmen, well respected in their communities, with no known reasons to vanish voluntarily. Their disappearances from locations where they were familiar and comfortable without any trace challenges logical explanations. The involvement of extensive search teams, the use of modern technology, and the lack of any clues or evidence add layers of complexity to this case. The absence of any signs of a struggle, foul play, or intention to leave raises more questions than answers. The region's wilderness, while beautiful, holds secrets that seem beyond the grasp of those who seek to uncover them. Since the years of their disappearances have passed, their stories remain open chapters in unexplained mysteries. Families, communities, and investigators continue to grapple with the unknown, holding onto the hope that someday some light may be shed on these perplexing cases. The disappearances of Frederick Fritz Drum and Thomas Messick Sr. stands as reminders of the profound mysteries that lie within the natural world, silent and yet to be unraveled. As we reach the end of our exploration into these puzzling disappearances, we are left with more questions than answers. These cases, unfolding in the vast wilderness of upstate New York, serve as reminders of the mysteries that still elude our understanding. Despite extensive searches and the passage of time, the fates of Fritz and Thomas remain shrouded in mystery, their stories a testament to the unpredictability and profound mysteries of nature. As we continue to ponder their disappearances, these cases remind us of the fragility of our existence against the backdrop of the natural world. They stand as enduring mysteries, captivating and confounding us, and reminding us that some secrets of the universe are perhaps destined to remain unsolved. In drawing to a close of our exploration of the perplexing and haunting cases of the Bennington Triangle, it becomes clear that these stories are more than mere tales of mystery and intrigue. They offer profound lessons and insights, reflecting both the enigmatic nature of our world and the resilience of the human spirit in the face of the unknown. The first and perhaps most vital lesson from these disappearances is the importance of caution and preparedness when venturing into vast expanses of nature. The wilderness, with its alluring beauty, also harbors uncertainties and hidden dangers. These cases underscore the necessity of being well prepared, carrying adequate supplies, informing others of your route, and understanding the terrain you plan to explore. Nature, for all its splendor, demands respect and caution. Additionally, these mysterious occurrences in the Bennington Triangle highlight the significance of community response and the collective effort in times of adversity. The extensive searches conducted, encompassing both local authorities and community members, exemplify how solidarity and cooperation are essential in overcoming challenges and seeking resolutions. These efforts, though not always successful in providing closure, demonstrate a communal strength and shared purpose in the face of bewildering circumstances. Furthermore, these stories beckon us to embrace the mysteries and the unknown aspects of our existence. In an age where information is at our fingertips, the Bennington Triangle serves as a reminder that there are still phenomena beyond our understanding, mysteries that defy rational explanations. These tales invite us to ponder, to question, and to wonder, keeping alive the sense of mystery that has been part of human storytelling and exploration throughout history. As we conclude this exploration into the shadowed woods and obscured truths of the Bennington Triangle, I want to extend a heartfelt thank you to you, the viewer, for joining us on this journey into the unknown. Your curiosity and engagement are what make delving into these mysteries so rewarding. If you've watched until the end, it's clear these stories have resonated with you, and for that, I am truly grateful. If you found these tales as captivating and thought-provoking as I have, please remember to like, share, and subscribe. Also hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of my new content delving into the mysterious and the unexplained. For those of you who feel particularly moved or intrigued by these stories, I encourage you to leave a super comment. Your support, in any form or amount, is immensely appreciated and vital in bringing these mysteries and compelling narratives to a wider audience. Thank you once again for your time and for sharing in the fascination of the unexplained mysteries that surround us. Stay curious and keep exploring the mysteries of our world.